What up? What up? It's your boy Woody, and guys, today is Matches of Monsters. And right off the bat, I do have to say a couple things. Okay, so I need you guys before your void, not your void, your frenzy starts. You do need to double check your top five alliances, and the reason why I'm saying this is because the towers. Okay, so if you look at the rules in the towers, the top five alliances are only allowed to attack the towers and be put into the towers. So if you have an enemy nation, now I'm not going to say this happened. What I will say, but if you have an enemy nation that can get a what is it, a C-20 or even a C-10 in the top five alliances, they can put one zombie or one troop into those towers, and unless the enemy kicks them out, no one from your nation can attack it. So it robs you from the towers completely. You can get zero fucking points from tower. So top five alliances going into frenzy. Be sure you don't have an enemy nation troll. We'll call it a troll in it. Okay, please look out for that because I'm telling you, you won't be able to kick them out. You will be stuck getting 0 points from that tower. Um, Also, we started a new Patreon for me. We do have a link. We will get it out there for you guys. So you guys, if you want to join your Patreon, and there's different levels into it, and we'll get into that on a different thing. But I'm going to hand the mic over to uh we got Big Bird and we got Holbrook in here. We got some good topics, guys. Frenzy just ended, so Holbrook, go ahead. You got a good topic you want to talk about real quick?
I think Big Bird, if you're ready to talk, you had some good spending advice.
Put me on the spot. Um, so we were talking about, if you had a little bit of money, which events were best to spend on it. And I actually don't know what advice I gave Holbrook that was good and can't think of it right now. So if somebody could take my alley oop and dunk it home and continue on with this thread while I frantically look for whatever I said before.
Yeah, I think I could say something about that. So for the whales, the Titan wheel will probably be no good other than the dies. But for the newer players that are trying to work on their Titans and their officers and their equipment, the actual equipment inside your city itself, that Titan wheel, when that event comes, if you're going to spend any money, that would be the thing to spend it because you can really push your Titans really fast. You can push, you can push all these equipments really fast. Um, Now, don't go dropping those $16,000, guys, because I know there are people that will. Don't do that. You know, spend what is in your means. Don't go broke and trying to steal money from Bob to pay a bill. Kind of don't do that. Go within your means. You'll get some pretty good stuff. You'll get a lot of Titan meat. You'll get those skeleton keys. All that other good stuff. Again, newer players, or if you're still working on your Titans, that would be my best bet for that Titan wheel. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in here who can probably back me on that too.
Yeah, I think if you're a medium spender, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to kind of reiterate kind of what we always say is, I think it's really, based a lot on, on what city, we're talking about, whether it's some random guy in the Alliance or your own city or otherwise. I think every city could probably, get a little bit from what Woody just described with the Titan wheel. Definitely a place if you're trying to build the Titans to spend a couple of dollars, that's for sure. But overall I think it's probably easier to sit down and one-on-one try to figure out where the best is to spend that money because it could very well be plane equipment or officer equipment or maybe you're a couple of dollars away from the next upgrade on the plane for whatever reason. So I think all of these things should be in taken consideration when you're talking about spending money. If you're talking about budget players, maybe $500 a month players type combo, I think that there's a lot of different places for those guys to spend on, again, depending on where they are with their officers and, things like that. But I think overall, I think we said this probably 2 or 3 podcasts ago, overall, the medium low spender type city, man, skill books, officers, please focus there. It's probably your best bet. If we did sit down and do a one-on-one with your city and all of those things, it's probably going to be skill books and, this, unless you're close to some random upgrade in a Titan/warplane scenario, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely.
I think some general advice, for things like Road of Legends or Alliance Bounty, they have those pay tracks. Look at what the track gives you across the 30 days for Road of Legends. Figure out how much of that is useful. Compare it, if you've got the time, against like the daily special packs are typically the best regular buy packs that come up every week in terms of item per cost. The limited event packs
They're like
are even better.
4,000% off instead of 32,000% off, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. But like, for example, if you need Modify Fluid, you get 17 Modify Fluid for $5 in a daily special. That's a slightly better rate than getting Modify Fluid from the semi-weekly shop. And I think either the Road of Legends or the Alliance Bounty gives you some Modify Fluid. I think it might be like 20. So I look at all that stuff and I kind of price it out, and I'm like, am I getting, for me, at least where I'm at, there's a lot of stuff that's not going to help me. Anything with equipment extensions isn't going to help me, just by way of example. And so I kind of just, that stuff doesn't matter. I focus on the things that will actually help me and decide whether that price point is good for what I'm getting. So I'm doing a lot of like comparison and looking for the most efficient packs. And one plug that I would have is Enioc's Stat Calculator has an upgrade page. And if you go and search for a specific type of item, it'll give you a ranking of kind of the efficiency, best value to worst value. And you can kind of plan out what pathway you're going to take in terms of which packs you're going to get. That'd be my second piece of general advice. Plan out what you're doing. For me, I've found that if it's going to take me longer than like 3 months to hit a goal, then I can't keep my patience for that long. And so I need to rearrange my pack plan and, gently accelerate a little bit. But I think you can have goals across a couple different categories and think about, what's your next goal in officers? The newer you are, you might be like, I want to get, all of my war officers to 4 stars so I can unlock all of the basic skills for all of them. For me, I'm thinking about, how long am I willing to wait to fully max K? And the longer you're willing to wait, the more efficient you can make it, and it leaves you more room in your budget for other stuff. That advice is not applicable to folks who are in a position where they're basically max buying and it's a race to max. But if you're trying to balance, growth in a couple different areas, then I think it makes sense to sit down and make a plan in advance, because that will also help you not go overboard. I use the blue coins as like a built-in budget, basically. When my blue coins run out, I will sometimes buy more. So I'm not a good example. But, if you use the blue coins twice a month, the Camel site will give you a slight bonus for the first of each category of blue coins that you get. That's free blue coins. I would try and take advantage of that. But, plan it out and take a close look at when you're getting kind of a reward track that's a mixed item bag, math it out and figure out if you're actually getting a good deal. I mean, We talked about this a couple weeks ago on the Triangle War, where you flip over those things. I can't remember what it's called. In order to unlock the last four, you have to pay $2.99, but you get
The
a certain number of.
it's the Tifa shop or whatever they call it.
Yeah, sure, exactly. And you get more Titan alloy or Titan equipment alloy there from that $2.99 pack than you do from the daily special. So little, carefully looking and comparing kind of value can help you kind of cut corners a little bit and get to the same strength a little bit cheaper than the next person, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Definitely for sure.
Can we debate auto kill? Do we need to debate auto kill? Does anyone not think auto kill is worth it? Because I feel like Kitten definitely thinks auto kill is worth it. I feel like people I like to listen to think auto kill is worth it. And killing monsters is great for your equipment and for your officers. But I tried to share it with my alliance and I got some pushback. I'm curious if anybody else pushes back on that.
Oh, hell, the auto kill is probably the most important thing in the fucking game.
I mean, for a guy spending, $20 a month or a week, maybe auto kill isn't something that he wants to purchase, so I would tend to agree maybe with that statement. But, on a general basis, if you're spending, I don't know, more than say $100 a week or $200 a week, I definitely would be having auto kill in that regard. That's me. Just for just for time, time's money, in my opinion, but just in the efforts of, I think V-Time brought it up last week or somebody did, now that the gas ratio is 200 or, the fill goes up to 200, you should be killing that the moment it fills a couple of times a day when you wake up, and all of those things while you're making your coffee, whatever the case may be, because I just had Deadpool share in chat over the weekend where his the new officer boy thing, K, I think his name is. Anyway, the new officer thing went from I don't know, level 20 something to level 40 something just because of the monster kill event, through the frenzy week. So you're talking some free stuff and a great way to spend $5 in my opinion, so long as it's not like your only $5. But even if it was your only $5, there's probably an argument that it's probably very good if you have your officers set up properly and all of those things for building your officers, so I would probably suggest that, at least a couple of times a week for the very, nominal spender that's only spending, $5 or something. But overall, yeah, I mean, nobody should be giving you pushback on that unless they're not spending much money. Those would be the people that would likely give you pushback on that. Everybody else probably already has it locked and loaded. I know a majority of the Alliance members that are in GFK anyway, that tend to take the advice of, of leadership and, move around some officer stuff and use those skills to, essentially get free officer experience because that shit is not cheap. And if you try and go buy it out of the weekly, the normal store, when the officer gets laid out, you're going to be looking crazy, You're going to be looking crazy. And I'll say even from a. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So, when you have to hit that Iron Doom or Mother Doom, whatever, if you have it, you only get to hit it once, and you don't have to heal 10 times or whatever.
Oh my God! Are you? So I didn't know that was because of that. I thought that just automatically came. But if that's because of auto kill, that is 100% worth it, right there. Just the heals alone. For Mama Doom.
I remember it would take me 2 hours per hit, so it added to 10 hours. Yeah, no, longer than that. So it was like when I saw that one hit basically is your heal time save. You're basically saving your heals.
Yeah, it works for Mother of Doom and Iron Grip. You can do 10 attacks at
I did
once.
not know that. I did not know that. See, you guys. This is why you guys get paid the big bucks. You know. I
You
did
say the
not know
big
that
bucks.
was because of fucking auto kill on everything I love.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
someone that spends money in the game, but not to the amount that some of you guys do. Normally, I do get, for example, the monthly card, and at least one week yes, 1 week no, I'll buy the auto kill.
Yeah. See, that would be a
Normally,
proper
I do it
suggestion
every
for a
single
budget
week,
spender.
but if you don't do it every single week, at least one
And you
yes,
have the
one no.
uranium card, right? I would assume that would be the other thing, like a must-have for the low-budget spenders out there that are spending little money in the game that do want to grow the city. The uranium card is still, in my opinion, pound for pound, probably the best $20 you can spend, throughout the game. So I don't think that's changed. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really necessarily watch those things, but that's definitely the thing to have. But staying on topic, that Mama Doom and the other Doom guy trick there because of auto kill is 100% worth it, especially for you guys with only a fleet or two of troops. We all know that those heals are expensive. So if you're going into say Elite War or Polar or whatever the hell, the next day after Doom or regular Doom, you guys are hitting that thing 10 different times. It's definitely worth it. So those are some arguments that Holbrook or whoever mentioned that. I think it was Holbrook. He's getting some pushback. I'd be arguing in topics and say in that regard for people that aren't necessarily already on that bandwagon. But essentially, just the officer XP alone is a bazillion percent worth it. And
I
you're going to
also
generate killing.
I also think the dinos come with it too. The auto dino portion of it. I don't know because I've always gotten auto kill. So, but I think that when you have auto kill, you're able to do auto dinos to where like you just hit the button, you can close the game and it'll do it while you sleep. So whenever anyone does a rally for a dino, it automatically puts you in it.
Oh, you mean the ones on Wednesdays and
Yeah,
Thursdays?
yeah, the dinos. I think I'm not.
But you
Don't hold
need
it.
auto kill for
Okay,
that.
so you don't. I wasn't sure because I've always had auto kill, so I wasn't sure. I just figured it might have been a part of it.
Yeah, no. For
I'm
those who don't
I'm still blown away
the
that comes with auto kill.
You know what else you're blown away with? The Infinity Zombies.
I knew you were gonna say that. You're never gonna fucking let me live that down.
Hey man, that's it. That's the only thing we got on you, bro. Hey, so there's a lot of packs out there. I'm gonna say that the limited time deals, guys, don't always buy everything that's in there. That some of the stuff is not good.
Okay, so here, do this. Do the comparison right here online. In the limited time deals and the daily is the officer XP and the skill books. In the
Not it.
limited, they kind of throw in the. Oh, you
Not
already bought them, you fucker.
Did I?
It
No.
was Frenzy, and then it went away.
Yeah, it was in
After
Frenzy.
went away.
You can do the
Ah.
uranium.
They got the uranium, which I compared. The uranium in the limited time is better than the weekly, and the weekly is better than daily.
There you go.
So, like,
Well,
when you, in uranium, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't know anything, but uranium right now is a hot ticket to buy.
But I think it's useful to folks to do that comparison, and then you triage down, right? You figure out the best bang for your buck, and then you buy packs in order until you've hit whatever your budgeted amount is for uranium for that week, for example.
Yeah, I mean, if you pay attention to it, ladies and gentlemen, and you're and you're on a particular amount of monetary budget for the game on a weekly/monthly basis, if you pay attention to it and are asked, you could definitely save a couple of dollars and probably get a little bit stronger along the way. Like these are the things that set apart the people who sit off in the corner and 5 years later still have a Kingsley and not an Alex. So like please, for the love of fucking God, just listen, pay attention, look around. Because if there's three different opportunities to buy uranium on a weekly, a daily, and a monthly, you could probably buy, like, I don't know, the first 2 or 3 packs of each one and be a lot better off than buying all of the dailies, maybe, or whatever the case is. So my father said long, long time ago, there's an ass for every seat. So it's probably the reason I became a salesman personally. So, you know, if you want to spend your money arbitrarily and any which way, Camel will allow you to do that. But if you just pay attention and you look around and you ask if you're not seeing what you're looking for, I'm sure you can wait a couple of days to get it because it's going to be coming out on a Thursday instead of the Tuesday that you want it. And again, you'll probably be much better suited, when it comes to fruition. And even talking to the whales out there, like myself, I can go look at my bag, and I have so much shit in my bag that I just because I bought out all the packs. If you're not trying to be the quote unquote strongest player in the game, or whatever the case is, just if you just not buy the $99 pack at the bottom, or whatever the case is, you probably won't have such a fucking full bag of shit that you can't use, you know and you'll still get to max if that's what you're trying to do. So there's a lot of things in that regard that I would personally do differently. Not to say that I would ever do it again, but if I were to do it again, I would 100% do it differently and not necessarily buy out every pack the moment something were to be released, or whatever the case is. I mean, look, right now I have a max dragon thing, goes to level 40, and I have 80 shards of that thing sitting in the bag, and it's a brand new thing. Kind of pisses me off personally, but like these are the things that we run up against as whales. So like if you just tone it down a little bit, because I have a level 30 something dragon in my 357 city, and I don't buy $99 packs there. So sure, I might be a couple of months behind, but I'm going to make that thing level 40 eventually by spending similar money, I would think, but probably a lot less over time, I would think, because I'm not buying those $99 packs. And we all know that those things are only 12,000% off, not 40,000% off, right?
I think the one of the important takeaways is the more you can slow it down. I feel like that's what LG is saying. The more you can slow it down, the better off you'll be. But also, if you just pay attention, there's micro improvements, but everything helps when you're spending money. We've been talking about the Titan wheel for a week or two. That $9.99 pack is the one for the Titan wheel. You get statistically, you get more spins for the $9.99. And if you want to do $200 worth,
yes, just all you gotta do is click the correct. You get 11 for $10 as opposed to everything else where you get less. So but you got to click that button a million times. I'm too fucking lazy to do that. Like I don't want to do that, and I swear, like I've known that, and I think Big Bird is even the person who told me this probably 2+ years ago, that it's a better spend if I were just to do the 11 every time. Hey, just do the 11 every time, and you'll get an extra 5% bubbles or whatever the fuck they're called. And no, I almost refuse to do it because I'm too lazy. But don't don't do what I do. Listen to me.
That's funny.
You can always, if you're moving too fast, you can always do 4 100s and then just start clicking the 10s.
That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. I'm just too lazy to do it. So I'm just.
At 11,
I'm trying. Again, I don't like to spend other men's money or other people's money, I should say. But I have no problem spending my own. Let's just say that.
That 11 items for $10 holds true also for Iron Blood. So if you're trying to get to the 400 gem fleet skin, the best fleet skin out there, in my opinion, you don't need to get $40 worth. It ends up only being 37. You do 3 times the $9.99 pack, and then a 5-pack, and then 2 $1 packs. And it's like, yeah, you saved only $3, but that stuff adds up if you can find enough places to cut corners there.
Well, I mean,
correct. You do that, and you do the blue coin special, right? Do all those things. It's an extra $40 that Camel kind of paid for. You know,
There's people out there that they'll drop they'll take their monthly budget into the game, and let's just say it's $1,000, okay, and they'll just buy a $1,000 package, and right there, where are they saving? They're saving like $50 fucking. Is it $50? I think I forget how much, but they're saving. They're getting like 500 extra blue coins from a
well,
thousand
that,
dollars.
and if you wait and you're patient, I will say that on their site they'll, it's almost like credit card rewards, right? For those business guys out there that probably spend dumb money on dumb shits like we are in this game. So it's similar to credit card rewards. So you're just spending some money over there and you're going to get some free shit along the way. That's essentially what it is. They're going to give you some extra things to spend money at certain times, but they're very good at, trying to get you to spend and then drop some new shit right after you just spent some money already, right? So they're good at trying to trick you in those regards, but in the grand scheme of things, you can definitely do whatever.
Do you have any? Do you have anyone?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Johnny.
No, I was just going to caveat on like what y'all were saying as far as the spend, the means, and the type of player whenever they're building, buying, or working on their city, if you will. Definitely have a plan. And as far as take note of all people that are generally speaking in these rooms or really communicating or have been around a long time. Because I know myself, as far as who's on here, like Big Bird and Lead God, I've asked them stuff before. Big Bird sent me a spreadsheet, dollar for dollar, hey, if you get this pack, and then if you buy them consistently over time or this week or that month or what have you, this is how much you're going to kind of spend on this item. Don't just, buy these certain kind of packs that you are talking about, the dailies, the special items, all that stuff. Have a focus for say a week, a month, whatever your spend level is. Focus on that. Reach out to somebody, ask for a spreadsheet or a cost sheet, whatever you want to call it. People will have it, and even down to once you do purchase that thing, talk to somebody that's smart and knowledgeable in your alliance or maybe in one of these rooms and be like, hey, I'm winning or losing in this. How can you help me? And send it to them, show it to them. You'll see the results a lot sooner than what you will if you buy, say, 10 different packs that are working on 9 different things versus 10 packs focused on one thing, and results wise, And if you ask from spreadsheets, your cost stuff is definitely going to be a lot more beneficial to you. Make the dollar work for you. Don't work for the dollar, if you will. You can definitely do that in this game. And a lot of people have said it numerous times. I mean, definitely take advantage of that.
I think what you're saying makes sense. One of the things that's wild about the game is how it evolves so quickly. And so there's so little information online. And so I think the smart move, honestly, is to just go to a Discord that you trust, whether it's Woody's or the Nerds or whatever, and say, I'm trying to get this. How can I get it most cost efficiently? And you can at least get up-to-date information. It's not like there's going to be an old video that's going to show you from 4 years ago. So just ask. I think people are happy to help.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I forget who said it, but it was a year or two ago when somebody said, whenever we get the camel cookbook, if you will. And I just, just definitely proved what you were saying, 100% right. It's so wild.
Yeah, I mean, I learned from Lumberg. I learned from Matty D. These people don't even play anymore. And I can't even imagine how old their videos are. None of those screenshots from back in the day with officers set up make sense anymore. So, I mean, you just have to keep on top of the game. But, I mean, that's not realistic for everyone. So it's easier to just go to a Discord you trust and ask.
I agree with you. Like that officer guide that I have out there, that's 3 years old. I mean, that's still good for the brand new people in the game. But once you start getting into drill masters, no, then there has to be. I think I have to update, make another one. But yeah, because the drill masters when I made that, there was no drill masters.
It's a whole new game when you start right now. It's nothing what it was, respectfully to that video, which was great when you put it out however many years ago. But it's a whole new game if you're in Nation 1400. You have so many new things. You know, it's a nice guide to those specific officers, but not to build a city. You know, so much has changed. Planes, fucking equipments, and fucking drill officers and machinists, and so much is different. So much.
I think something most people still haven't caught up on, and please, Lee God or whoever, call me a liar. I think back in the day, it was smarter to focus on war officers, and we just kind of generally said focus on war officers. But as soon as we got 6 drill masters and 6 war officers, I actually think you should balance them completely. I might even have a small lean towards drill masters just because the drill master officer equipment is even better.
Yeah, the officer equipment is really good.
Clarify what you mean by better, Holbrook, because I think I know what you mean, but for the wider audience.
Generally applicable. So I feel like all of the upgrades on the drill master equipment is helpful to everyone. Whereas if you say upgrade your Stormbow or whatever, one of those is going to be helpful to you, whether you're mid-range or long-range. The other one is going to be less helpful to you. Whereas both officer equipment for drill masters is going to be helpful to you.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to agree with Holbrook just, on the balance effect. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've done that from the beginning. There's always kind of raised things balanced. I'm even kind of somewhat doing that with like my warplane equipment currently. I mean, obviously I have a few focuses, but overall it's fairly balanced. So yeah, I mean, if I'm thinking outside the box and I were doing something new, I would definitely be doing war officers and drills and machinists now, fairly balanced.
The truth. So, and we came up to a decision if that new machinist is even, I hate to say it, but like, is it worth maxing out with the percentage of kills that you get?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We have to stop this craziness. Mental will send videos to whoever doesn't believe it. I feel like people maybe have anecdotally concerns about this, but it either already is working and whatever, or it's not working yet, and Camel is going to want you to buy it, so they're going to fix it. Like, there's no world in which you say, oh, this officer is not worth spending on, and that'll be true in a year. So even if it's a little bit off right now, they're going to fix it. But I don't even believe it's a little bit off. I think people are just cranky.
I think what it is people that they expect these new war officers or any officer or anything in the game to be like a huge difference. And people have to remember that we're at the stage of the game that like anything that's new is coming in the game right now. It's probably for the maxed whales to make the difference between them fighting. Because if you're getting like, let's just say 2-star of the new mechanical or this here and there, you're not going to have that much difference in the attack against those bigger players. If that makes sense.
I think also too, just the level where stats are nowadays versus where they were a couple years ago. 30% increase means a lot less than it used to. So I think a lot of these new officers are offering incremental advantages, but the difference against the totals that we're seeing for people's stats just aren't as large anymore. So I echo what Holbrook says. If you are the type of player that is maxing out your officers, I don't think you should skip an officer. I don't think that makes sense long term. But, I'm also not surprised that the new officer isn't game breaking or amazingly good or, turning night into day or something like that.
I'll just chime in real quick and say, even if you're not maxing your officers, you're probably not 5-star K right now, right? And if you're not 5-star K right now, then working your way towards that can only help you. It doesn't matter if you're mid-range or long-range. The Unworldlies for K can give you upgrades for whichever one you are, which is a new thing. So pretending like you shouldn't upgrade this officer that can give you mid-range attack or long-range attack and may or may not have a good breakthrough. It's just kind of a crazy idea to me.
You're not wrong on that. You're not wrong on that at all. We have the next topic that we can talk about.
You want to go down the
I think
list?
Holbrook wanted to talk about why Head of State was dead. I don't know why he wanted to talk about it, but he was mentioning it earlier.
No, not me. Not me at all. I mean, no, not me at all. Head of State is dead, and I'm done talking about it forever. You guys should play better events. But you guys can tell me why you think it's still an event worth playing if you'd like.
Oh, I love it.
I actually put
Did
my.
anybody have any cool reports? Did we get anything in the chat that was worthy of looking at, or is it just a bunch of? I saw Tip and 439 going at it earlier. I was dying laughing.
Dude, I was eating popcorn kind of deal. I do want to say one thing, because the last time that 736 had void with Nation 700, yes, they did recruit and they did bubble, and we put them on the blacklist, whatnot. But I'm gonna give them props with this frenzy, guys. They fought. They fought us. They sent a freaking 35 fucking man hit at us and stuff like that. They fought. So with that being said, I mean, I don't think they deserve to even be on the blacklist anymore. Like, they fucking fought, and they didn't just do it once. They did it like 5 or 6 different times. Big attacks.
What was the overall score and who won?
We won. We won, but they came out and they fought us. So I mean, I have nothing bad to say about 700 anymore, other than the one guy, which I won't put his name out there. But they fucking fought. So GG to 700 on that.
I saw somebody tried to attack Cash and it's got mollywopped.
What? I want to see that. Please tell me it was recorded.
I don't know if it was recorded, but the reports in Enoch's channel from earlier today, it was really bad.
I gotta see this. I gotta see this. Someone
It was
grab
really
those.
bad.
Someone please grab that report. Posted it. I gotta see that.
Yeah, he said it was a speed attack or something along those lines. Everybody must have arrived at different times. Like on Everything I Love, Woody, they killed like under 1 million troops. I think it was under 600,000 troops. So it was like 500 and something thousand they killed of his. No defense.
That's probably a Max City LG. I didn't even read the report, but that's probably a Max City, just for some context.
It don't matter, man. There's 40 plus members, bro. Right? 100 million BP.
Where was that report at?
Now.
Where was that report?
What am I missing something, Holbrook? What am I missing, bro?
I didn't see it. That's a strong ass city though.
Yeah, but still, 40 plus people, man, are killing more than 500,000 troops, bro. I don't care how strong you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, something's wrong there because everybody arrived at an effed up time. It's the only way possible. And he just ate them up as they came one by one by one by one by one. He ate them up. That I agree with, and I know. You guys want to see a crazy report? Shout out to 269. Love those guys. We had them with Elite War today, and what the craziest report we got.
I'm stuck. I want to see that. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm looking at this. Holy shit. Holy cow.
And that is not, and that was a good split in our behalf. And they tried to speed it and save it, and it was a little too late for them to speed it and save it. That's why it looks like that. It was not 41 people arriving at the same time on us 7 or anything like that. It just wasn't. So the report doesn't necessarily tell the proper story, but that's an absolutely crazy report. And I feel like that's something very similar to what Cash had when his city was attacked today by 40 plus, people, and he only had 500,000 killed on him. I'm gonna look for the report while I
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah, dude, that's insane. So you had 4.2 million troops in defense. They hit you guys with 18.5 million troops. It only killed 2.1 million. Oh my! I mean, regardless, that's half your troops.
Hey,
Okay.
shout out the special, the secret sauce that we had all the time.
Yeah. Don't, yeah, definitely. But this is amazing. Like this is something that you would see like 18 million troops versus 18 million troops kind of deal. That's something that you would see like that. Not 18 and a half against 4.2 million troops, and the lopside is that way. That and so
Or I just showed. Go
that
look at the Baba Yaga report.
hold on. We'll get to that. And 629 is a strong freaking nation. UBN, that's a strong nation, guys. That's not like they're not weak. Put it that way. They're not fucking weak. Wow.
They're minus Wales. That's what they don't have. And I think they fell behind when the release of officer equipment, or excuse me, plane equipment came out. I think they were just a little fed up. So, but they still show up heavy and deep, man. That's for sure. It was a good war with those guys today.
Hey
guys, I have a quick question. I was trying to get it in before you switch topics.
Okay.
So in regards to the drill masters, does anybody have like a particular order that they would suggest upgrading those by?
Holbrook 100% loves a couple of them. He'll explain.
Nah, man, I think they're all pretty even. I think just bring them up as fast as you can. Keep them equal with the war officers. I'm a pretty big balance guy.
My personal favorite is Emily for things other than her skills. I don't know why, but I just like her. But so Emily is my personal favorite currently.
I guess what I mean specifically though is like you're not going to take one of them up to 55 while you keep another one down at 20.
No, but you might spend money on the shards, like on one specific officer though, on like a weekly basis or something along those lines, right? As opposed to buying
that's what I kind of
one
I'm
pack,
sorry about that.
Yeah, so
I guess it depends on the spend level, right? So if the spend level is low, then I don't think I really have a different opinion on each one. I would want them all to be where I can upgrade their skills. I guess if the spend level is a lot higher, then as a long range player, I might want the ones with the unworldly stats that give me more long range attack. So maybe there's some customization based on player, but I'm just kind of not a big believer on those short-term optimizations. That's me.
what about the drill master that you would not rush, but say you're a mid-level spender? What's the drill master you're opening up, the BT first? If you can only buy 3 officer packs a week, and you got to focus on one officer at a time type deal to get it to a certain place. Which one are you getting to the BT level 5 for conversation's sake first?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't optimize at that level. I mean, I hate to like change the question to give you your answer, but the only thing I'm really optimizing for is reducing damage on a war officer. Drill master, I don't know. I don't feel like the short-term optimization makes a huge deal. But I definitely could be wrong. I just don't know.
Well,
I think some of the things you want to take from this is matching up the drill master BTs with the island items that you may or may not have, that some other players may have in your nation, or maybe some of your rivals type deal, and kind of go down that rabbit hole. But the big thing is making sure you get to that, to get that skill open. So my answer to your question, Diesel, right, or something along those lines, yeah, would be to, get them. You want to kind of, just go one at a time and get them all to at least that 4 stars, so you can open up each one of those skills. I would personally, go all the way to the BT again, depending on spend level, without getting too granular on it. But you at least want to get each and every one of those officers, drill, war, machinist. In my opinion, the first focus would be to get them all to 4-star, so you can gain access to each and every one of those, what I call normal skills, not BT, not unworldly. I think that's more of a spending players type deal, or a player that's been around for a long time. You're in Nation 800, so you've been around for a couple of years at this juncture. So, if you're past, let me ask you a question, Beaver. Where are you? Are all your officers at 4? Are they 4-star or better?
Yeah, I'm pretty much at that point. I was just kind of asking for like generalized advice for the rest of the alliance, because I tend to bring up topics just from these talks that I listen to you guys and you have every Sunday, and I try to carry some points back to spread to the team. But
Yeah, 100%.
it's
So
just kind of difficult to get
doing it
people
the
rocking
same
and
way you're
rolling.
doing it. Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time, and you can't spend another man's money, So you can offer the suggestions and lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink type deal. So bravo on bringing the information back. I'm sure the people that are paying attention appreciate it. Yeah, man, I would do it all kind of exactly like Holbrook said, or even myself earlier, kind of raise everything, kind of very similarly. And then, I always went by the motto of the goal is to get the skill open, whatever that is. So if the officer has 3 normal skills, that's my first goal. Then my next goal is to get the BT open. And then my next goal is the 5 additional skills I'm getting in the 6-star there. So these are all places to go. Get skills.
LG, to go with what you're saying, you're absolutely right, of course. But to go with what you're saying, the officer equipment goes right along with this, right? And so if you really wanted to specialize on spend, you would do exactly what you're saying. You would also bring up the officer equipment, and then you would look at that gold officer equipment and see which damage reduction or increase you want to deal with. That's where you could maybe specialize. But for the rest, it feels very balanced. But if you definitely want like long range damage reduce, melee damage increase, melee damage reduce. Like these are the things that we all covet. So that's where you could maybe specialize, but bring it up all equal pretty much, other than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're close to one of them.
I'm going to say maybe next week we can talk about, because there's a specific way where Maverick and I taught our group how to level officers. So you're maximizing officers' percentage versus just making it look pretty and getting to 55, or getting like you're unworthy to like, 30 instead of like, hey, let's even it out. Like I think the percentage is the best, like how to level it up where you're getting max return on it.
Yeah, grab that info, brother, and bring it to us next week, man. I'm sure many would love to hear it. And I'm sure many would also take the advice, because I know what you're talking about. And if you have the detailed information, I'm sure it could go a long way, or at least, drop a link to it. Maybe you don't have to spend too much time on the cast about it, but you could definitely drop a link for it in one of the numerous servers.
So I wouldn't know where it was at, but definitely was talked about, definitely was explained at that time. I'm kind of like a player that's always had the officers at 55 pretty quick, so I don't pay attention what percentage, but then, started getting asked the questions of how do you maximize the officers? Because once it goes to a certain level, the amount you're spending to get 0.8% or a percent was like stupid, where you can get like 10%, just leveling the next officer way quicker, like to level 10 or something.
Listen, man, you can, but you can't make him do it. I swear, just this week, okay, GFK is one of the top alliances in the game. I'd like to say and think, right? And just this week, we had a player during the exchange of, hey man, share your officers, blah 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 blah, and this motherfucker shared Kingsley, bro. I couldn't believe it. He shared Kingsley. I'm like, what is this? Like your extra officer? You know, like what the fuck? And I'm like, listen, man, like you have to listen to me. You have to do this. You have to just make it all zero and put everything into Alex. And then go beat up the guy who's been beating you up in the mines for the last 6 months because you're gonna immediately win. Please, like just do it. And like, you know, whatever. A few minutes later, he came back with the, you know, somewhat of an Alex there because, you know, whatever. And but they're still fucking around. These people are still hiding in our alliances, guys. you gotta say it a million times, and then you gotta call them out, and then you gotta make them share it, and you know, so like you gotta do all these things to find the guys who are holding on to that fucking 6-star Kingsley, you know, level 55, you know, all of that, and you know, so yeah,
Look,
you gotta
So
pay attention.
there's a guy in our alliance, and there was some natural disaster happened, a flood. Unfortunately, I don't even know where it happened, but he was like, I need some money. And I was like, I mean, I don't need a city, but I'll buy your city. And so I get the city and I look in there. He has XP all over the place. He has XP not just in Kingsley, but he has XP in like blue officers or green officers, whatever. Either one sucks less. That's where he had it. He had 2,410 officer skill boxes. And so, of course, I know I pop all of those. We don't need any of, actually, he had some terrible skills too, but I could replace them very quickly. And, you know, you destroy all those. Like, if anybody's listening and you haven't figured out that you can destroy those officer skills and get XP out of it, please ask in the chat immediately.
Oh my God. When I found that out, I had a return of 4,700 skill buffs.
So I get this city, and I immediately, without spending a single penny, I didn't even want the city, but I was like, just, you know, this guy has a natural disaster. Let me help him out. So I get the city. I immediately upgrade the melee HP by 100 and the attack by 150. $0. Just fixing the city.
I think that
ask questions, guys. Take suggestions. You have to.
I think we have to touch on when it comes to the unworldlies. For say you know what you want, you got them all picked. So what do you focus on now? So like me, obviously you'll see some at 16, some at 20, but I've always focused on the melee HP and the increased long range, you know, the increased attack of long range, and to try to get those maxed out because those are your actual real big stats. And I do that with all, you know, any of these the drill officers that you can get them. I try to max them out. And of course the reduction attack from, you know, reduce attack from enemy long range. Those are the really, really important stats, guys. And they're really, really important stats. It's going to change your actual strength on your build. Try to, you know, obviously nickel and dime and all the other stuff, but try to get those maxed out real fast because you're going to see a major difference in your attack, not only on the stats, but in real time. If that makes sense. And then all the other little things, you know, like biochemical zombie attack boost. I mean, you can nickel and dime that to death. You don't got to freaking max those out before you max the more important ones out. If that makes sense to you all.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an order of operations, right? You know, each officer, once you get the star open, you kind of get a glance on what's available, or somebody's already told you what's available, so you can make a plan, and you kind of stick to that plan. But there's definitely an order of operations on what you should, you know, if you had the choice. You know, many people just take what's given to you, you know, because you don't have the shards to roll or the fragments to pick, right? So a lot of people are kind of just stuck with what they get. So whatever you get is what you get. That's camel odds. Typically it's blue. Typically it's a long range defense or something ridiculous that nobody wants or needs. But for the player that is spending a little bit or rolling or has things, you know, picked, you know, I personally always start with attack. It's followed up with melee HP. It's then followed up with, you know, depending on whether there's defense available or, reductions of such. But there's an order of operations depending on what your city looks like. I mean, I feel like everyone kind of follows that for the most part if they're picking. I know that Tip was just talking a few podcasts ago, and I took his suggestion on on using those machinist shards that we've had kind of stacked away from the last one on just going ahead and getting a single S of your choice on 3 or 4 of the new officers and and kind of change and roll them from there. Man, what a great idea that was that I didn't think of. So shout out to Tip and those boys over there for giving us that one, or bringing it to my attention anyway. Because it definitely helped me and probably a good handful of my team as well that I offered that same suggestion to. So stupid things like this, I feel like really help a lot. But using those pick ones or again are they're expensive, right? So all depends on spend level and time. I'm assuming for a lot of people, but those of you that do have some machinist shards from the last one coming into this new one here, you definitely want to pick the right ones when it is your time, and not pick some dumb wonky shit because you have a blue long range attack down here or, a blue melee HP down here. Like, do yourself a favor and spend the money on at least not spend the money, but spend the shards on at least the 2 skills that are typically available in all officers. Your choice of attack, whether it's mid or long range. That should be your first pick each and every time that there's an officer release first. And then you should, I think you should be grabbing melee HP, right? That's my opinion. As a whale player anyway, this should be the next thing you guys are picking. And after that, it's, everybody can kind of pick and choose. But those 2 are I think, if you're spending money on shards or the stupid things to get those shards. You want to be able to pick the proper skills and your choice of attack, whichever your city's built on, and melee HP if it's available, should be the 2 that you're spending it on. And even after that, I can also suggest that you can kind of do it organically through whatever envelopes that you're getting through rewards and things like that over the months. Because after those 2, you can it's arguable that you can wait and use those shards and kind of just free roll. Unless you're a spending player and you want a certain choice after that, obviously you got to pay for it, right?
I think unworldly stats are super important. I think Woody's last live podcast,
Very important.
there was 2 things that I thought were the most important things from that podcast, which were we shouldn't talk about things no one should ask about unworldly stats in isolation. So if you just ask me, hey man, what do you think about zombie HP? I'm gonna have an answer. But if you say, hey, what do you think about zombie HP versus bigger hospital? I'm definitely gonna have an answer for you. But if you say, hey, what do you think about my triple S zombie HP versus my single S melee HP? I'm going to tell you to take that single S melee HP every single time. Now, you want that zombie HP regardless of what it is over the hospital every single time. But it shouldn't be like which ones are good and which ones are bad. It's more of a go on Discord, go to Woody's Discord, ask, hey, man, I want to swap out long range defense triple S for 1S melee HP. What do you think? And then let everybody tell you. I mean, I'll personally tell you, take that melee HP. Maybe somebody will tell you different. That's up to them.
I agree.
Yeah, that's such a great suggestion. I see people do it in Enoch server all the time. See people do it in Woody server all the time, Barry server all the time. Even the whale tank that I'm in with a couple of these guys. What do you ask? Closed mouths don't get fed, guys. Just gotta ask if you don't know or you're not 100%. You're looking for a place to get suggestions. There's so many good Discord servers, or hopefully there's somebody in your alliance you can look up to. But if you're the guy everybody looks up to, maybe you need other people to lean on as well. So with that being said, make sure you're in the good Discord servers. Make sure you're listening and paying attention because hopefully you'll be able to pass that information down.
And I think another thing that's important to notice is like people can chase those triple S's, but if you're only fortified to 15, the difference between an S and a triple S, I believe, is 3%. And unless you're trying to kill lead god, that 3% is not going to make or break your build.
Yeah, that's not gonna. Lead god
It's
is
3% times 6, so it's really 18% overall, Holbrook. So get it right.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm just talking about each one. I'm saying if you do you want zombie HP triple S or do you want melee
you're
HP?
100% right, man. Unless you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on this game annually, like you don't need triple S's. You don't need to spend 1,000 fucking frags like my dumb ass on the perfect fucking thing. You definitely don't have to do that, and I wouldn't suggest it for anybody. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I would actually really strongly suggest most players just focus on getting the right unworldlies, and if they're S, great, and if you roll better, even better. But that's gravy. That's not your target.
Yeah, I would be a lot more, pushing of the, again, when people ask me in a general way, hey, I came up with a little extra cash. What should I be buying? Just grab some skill books, man. It's like, in my opinion, just the best suggestion. Overall, pound for pound, officers are still the kind of the best thing for stats out there. And yeah, it's probably my number one suggestion. Unless, again, you can get to that next, Titan level with the, spending that money on some Titan meat or whatever the case is. Nismo just went from level 41 to level 42 on his male Titan. He buys the first 3 packs every time it's available, Titan meat, and it took him 3.5 months just for some depth, ladies. And he's good at sticking to his budgets, right?
Yeah, that's actually that's impressive. That's impressive, bro.
I'm telling you, man, 3.5. That's a long fucking time for one Titan level.
Flame's even worse.
I know, man. You're preaching the choir. That's why I'm suggesting what I'm suggesting, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, some players are spending millions right now. These new players in these 1300s, or whatever. If they stick around for a couple of years, man, they're going to be in the M's real quick.
Okay, so I hate to go off topic real quick because I heard you say 1300. Someone told me that they have an option in the 1300s because of all the bot farms that they have an option to move to another nation. And they give an option to other nations, but it's in the newer nations that have the million fucking farms out there, or bot farms. And
I think that's a photoshopped version of how you can move nations before you're level 12.
All right. I wasn't
sure. That's what we're getting.
I wasn't sure if it was even true because I didn't even get to see the actual screenshot or someone posted it. I'm like, well, what are people's asking me to show it to me? I'm like, what? I didn't hear about that. What are you talking about? And I'm there, and they said it was in the nerd room. And I'm going through the nerd room. I'm like, dude, I'm going back freaking 2 weeks, and I'm not seeing it.
I'm not sure. It looks like there's somebody trying to ask a question. I don't know how this new things work, but I don't want to step on toes. But it looks like someone's trying to ask a question. Are we trying to let them do that there?
Yeah, I'll ask him.
907 there? It's been there for a few minutes.
I don't believe it, Woody. I agree with LG. I think it's fake news.
Is there
I think it's fake news, brother. Yeah, I think it's fake news.
Looking.
Speak, Alaskan. Now's your time to shine.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's there. He's I don't know if he knows he's ready or not, though.
He has his mic off on his phone. He's on the stage, but his mic's off. You just got to turn his mic on.
All right, sorry guys.
There he goes.
The change has messed me up. I hit some buttons I shouldn't have.
This is a new way we're doing doing things in the lives now, and so it's all new to us too. So go ahead, ask away, brother.
Oh, I didn't really have a question. Like I said, I hit the wrong button, but I just want to say hello, and I'm
what's
just in the
up?
back listening.
We thank you. Everyone's like, I hit the wrong button.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah,
you're gonna
when
get a
I-
lot of it.
When
I
I
like this.
first joined, Woody, I didn't like, you didn't like give me permissions or whatever, so I was like down there with everybody else, and I'm looking for the mute button because I'm like out and about right now, and so I'm looking for the mute button, and it's like not there. I'm like, oh shit! So I just like ended it because I didn't want you guys to hear everything that was going around me, and then I came back in, and then like whatever you gave me, I guess permissions or whatever it is that you did, and then I found the mute button. So, so yeah, I'm
That's
still learning.
exactly what I did.
So this is
So,
the
so it looks like everybody down there is automatically muted now. I'm assuming, right? So just to give everybody a tutorial, I'm assuming that's what it is down there. Everybody that's not in the quote speakers thing that I'm looking at, the audience.
yeah.
I think
So
the idea is supposed to be if you support Woody at the warlord level, then you get brought in here and you can speak when you want to speak. And if not, then you just raise your hand and then you will be able to speak. I mean, we interrupted obviously just for Alaskan, so it's not like we're trying to keep people out. But it's
Yeah,
I think
no,
it's
for sure,
just
for sure.
I think it's
No,
just a
what I'm
Patreon
getting
thing.
at is everybody down there is automatically muted though.
yeah, everyone down
so-
there is automatically muted. The only
Got it, okay.
permission they have is to text until they raise their hand. This is that
Understand.
screenshot. Duke was able to produce the screenshot. That what I was talking about. So it says, "Welcome back, Commander. You haven't come back for a long time, and the nation has a new look. We have a special prepared the new nation luxury gift to help you restart your journey. Tap the button below, and instantly go to a new nation to unlock all new challenges." Okay, so like, and then we got this. You claim these, and then you claim these too when you go to the new nation. So my question is this: what if you are? Like, how long do you have to? Obviously, you have to be away from the nation for a while, is what it's saying, right? And then you log in, and then you get this message. How long does it have to take for you not to log into your city? And what level? What if you're 41, you don't log into for 6 months, where you get this message? And if that's the case, is that option to actually still go to a new nation as a 41 on the table?
I assume. I mean, let's let somebody talk that knows. But
Yeah,
I assume this is like. I don't know about you, but when I first found this game, I didn't just like join a nation and then join an alliance. I was trying to play fucking tower defense. You know what I mean? So my nation, sorry, my commander ID is so much larger than a bunch of people that immediately joined and then joined the nation. This feels like that. This feels like you join, you play some tower defense, you click on a button, and then you come back later and they're like, oh, look, you didn't fall for our bait the first time. Why don't you try again?
Gotcha.
So guys, when it comes to this screenshot, I had it on one of my farms, and also one of my friends, he had it when he didn't join the nation for almost a month, I guess. It only allow you to go to a new nation and create a new city. Like, you don't actually move your city. You're just gonna get a pack, like a starter pack, and you create a new city in that nation with that new starter pack that you're gonna take.
Get that.
Yes.
Scrap that. Fast too.
Just for clarification, yeah, that pack activates once every 30 days. And it just offers you to build a nation. Does.
Yeah, that's. Look, Campbell, what are you thinking? Like, let me just get this migraine to go away over that. I don't understand why they're doing stuff like that. I get and I understand that they want people to start new and start spending again. I get that point. But that is like the opposite thing of what the players are asking for. The complete opposite. Well, they don't understand that we want to move our main city to a different nation, not start over.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Go ahead and bring your city to my nation, please, any day. But is anybody really going to abandon their nation?
Well, there are some. There are some that will. For instance, Cash in 779. If he got that golden ticket to move, you already know what he's doing. He's going to freaking 799. Or not 799, 904. 100%.
There you go, Woody. There's the report in the chat for Cat.
Holy cow.
Now that he dropped his name again, I forgot about it.
48. Man. 118. He took on 48 Titans. 764s, they're not a weak nation either. That Alliance GMA, they're not weak. Wow. Is he really that strong? I think we're gonna have to actually go look. Is he really that strong? I think we're gonna have to go look.
It's a max city, but that's pretty wild.
Yeah, but that was 779. Yeah, Cash, you're getting some time on my channel. And doesn't he have a max city in 904 as well? What is it? 779. 6. Damn, we better fix this stuff. Making it hard for me to find things. Right here, Cash.
I mean, I used to fight that city in the mines. It's the strongest city in the mines that I had to fight. It's a great city, but that report is crazy.
Holy cow, 26.2. And the drop. Oh my god. Now, didn't we all agree that 24, anything past 24 is the fake officer power? You know, the Kingsley and the Medici and the stuff that no one really even gives a fuck about. I thought it was a 24.
I mean, those things don't matter unless you have them equipped. Like Kingsley wouldn't matter unless you had him equipped.
Okay.
But I think you mean like directors. Like maybe he's got
directors. Yeah, this is a completely maxed account. Like max.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously super strong, you know. But I've been a super strong account for a long time. Been involved in a lot of big battles throughout the years, and 48 people. So long as again they're not a bunch of T10 cities, you know, should kill more than 500,000 unless they all came 6 at a time, 7 at a time, some dumb shit like that. Just one splat.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely they must have freaking he was killing more, and because he only has 9.4 million troops in there, you know, so they were definitely just freaking walking in there slow.
Only Woody, right? Just only.
I'm sorry. That you hit, like you said, dude. 48 people, 48 people, if they all hit it once at the exact same time, or at least within 3 seconds, yeah, you would see at least like 3 million gone.
Yeah, you're gonna be you're gonna get a good little haircut, you know.
Yeah,
he's gonna win more than likely, right? But you know, he good little haircut, especially in Frenzy. You know, good little haircut. That guy lost half a fleet of ancillary troops, probably. You know, like not even like real troops. It was like filler trash T11 or some shit.
Yeah. Here, I see his stats. Let's see what his stats look like. Okay, so he has been adjusting. Okay, because he was very high in melee attack. He was at like, last I remember, he was like at 1,800, 1,900 melee attack. So he's adjusting down to the melee defense. Okay. He's also put
He's putting in some work in that city, man, for sure.
Yeah, he's out. You can see he's put some in a long range attack too. He's putting it into.
I think what you're seeing is him buying plant equipment. It's just coming with the process.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like he's reduced damage taken from mid range is still only citing 5.5. He has no reduced damage taken from melee, other than the extra equipment. He's a monster. He's like you. He's like you, Legod. He's a monster.
Yeah, man. He did his thing in that battle for sure. And the guys who attacked him got fucking mollywopped.
It was like, bam, dead. Damn.
He's probably wearing the killer skin for the season after that attack.
Oh, he is. That's he is. 9.7 million kills, and even on defense. You know what? This brings up a topic I do want to just touch on a little bit. So there's been talk about, like, if your nation is going to lose, and you're going to lose the head of state, right? If you want to get that, the personal top score and get that skin for, individual, you don't got to speed around to get it. And so, and guys, I don't suggest you do this unless your entire nation agrees to this. Don't be selfish and screw your nation over for the individual. So how do you get that? You don't buy speeds. You don't need speeds. What you need to buy a lot is heals. So a lot of people have been doing this. They've been getting zeroed out, healing, getting zeroed out, healing, getting zeroed out, healing. For instance, Cockroach and 877, awesome guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. They weren't going to win. They did try. They weren't going to win. So what did he do? He dropped his bubble, let him get zeroed out. It was frenzy. Let him get zeroed out. Healed 8 times and got zeroed out 8 times. He got that skin. It's smart. Don't get me wrong. But
it sounds like Shrimp getting #1 in GC just by chain hitting our towers over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, you can't hate on it.
Event overall. I mean, I can hate on it. I think it's fucking a gay thing to do. It's similar to recruiting and fucking shielding, right? It's like the same bucket, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying. So people are doing that now, and I personally can't hate on it because I know I'm never going to be the #1, individual. There's just too many people. We get matched up, League Out. I'm sure you can probably say the same. Is we get matched up with a lot of hard nations, and all you're looking at is bubbles for the most part. You might get 2 or 3 good attacks, and that's about it. Versus some nations.
Which moves us into our next topic on how head of state's dead, and Holbrook hates it.
Yeah.
I just keep fucking with Holbrook. It's fine.
Holbrook, you got the mic.
I love it, right?
But he's selling me, man. He's selling me. I'm like there. I said it in the Enoch server earlier today. It's like, if head of state keeps going this way, I feel like it's more probable that we'll try and give 621 a challenge in Elite War because there's nothing else fun to fucking play. I will say that I changed my time in Polar War this week to get away from 255, and now we get to go see the 1111 guys. So I'm excited for that Polar War matchup and play Mr. DK.
Welcome to the dark side. Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, Liga, I'll tell you what. I sold 736 against the 1111, and they came with numbers. Like, don't get me wrong.
They need to come with numbers because they're squishy. Fucking squishy.
I mean,
squishmallows.
I mean, you're gonna definitely give them a run from their money. I promise you that. But
there's gonna be 25 of us, and we're gonna fuck them up. Watch.
And sometimes there's some of these newer nations out there. They haven't seen I mean, they've seen some older nations,
Well,
but
the
they haven't
problem
seen
is,
the
yeah,
big old.
they got 3 or 4 whales, and that's cool. I got like 13 whales. So, like at the end of the day, like that part isn't anything. It's the team, and they're gonna have a bunch of them. That's fine, but they're all squishy, man. They're C34s. Like if they're lucky, their bottom half is probably C33s right now. Still.
But they got those T13s. But again, the stats is if everyone has T13s, but that's when the stats come involved. And I don't think they've
Yeah, I
seen.
mean,
They haven't. 1111 hasn't seen a player like you.
does
yet.
DK run all those cities at the same time?
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah, he does, dude. All
Dude,
three of them. All three of them.
Swear
Dude,
to God, I have a reporter buddy, man. I'm gonna make my reporter buddy on Sunday one day, on one of these Sundays, just tell him that his shield fell, and I want a picture of his face when he says it.
Bro, you can't help but cheer for DK when he scores
Dude,
a touchdown, and you're
dude,
like,
so-
that dude
and you
plays the game with us.
and he's like going in the back after the game. It's like 4 o'clock, and it's Void Sunday, and he just checks in. It's got to be pretty sick. Not gonna lie.
Any targets?
He's
Any
in the
targets?
He's in the locker room saying, "You guys don't even know. Not only did we win today, but I'm Void Tyrant."
Hell yeah!
Right? How cool is that?
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Yeah, shout out DK, man. But we're gonna have some fun whipping your ass in Polar.
Ooh.
That team's got it. I played them. So I've played 11-11 recently in Elite War in 357, and the power difference. I can tell the power difference even there. And just organically, 357's, got some decently powered cities overall. And, we can show up with 50 or so in Elite War still. So when we do that, we kind of get picked on by certain nations. And I think they were one of them for a little while. But the long and short of it is you can definitely feel the power difference. Yeah. And it's, they're squishy. I don't know, it's like the best way to say it. And I don't say that in a disrespectful way. It's just, they're squishy.
I think they're going to be super excited to.
That'll last for a couple of seconds, and then they just disappear.
So, Liga, they're going to. You do realize that they're going to treat your guys' poll like the Super Bowl, right? You do realize that, like you were a name well known across the entire game, like me. So they're going to treat your polar like the Super Bowl. Like they're going to show up with 99 people probably. Like I can see it now.
I hope they do. I think that'll be great. I think it'll be fun because we haven't had a fun polar in some time. I think it'll be cool. 99 would be fun, but we're gonna be like 35 deep, and it'll be going in our favor more than likely.
Hey Woody, who's JXY? Is it 7? That's not 726, right? That's AOM. Wherever JXY is,
it's 726.
Okay, we just had them. So we've had 3 wastelands in a row that are good. I know. We often talk about how our wasteland matchups suck. I can't speak for anybody else, but at least for 785, we've had 3 good ones in a row. We just fought JXY again. They're a great opponent. That's actually a huge mid-range nation. They would be like the nation that would fit the lead god. Hey, what if everyone went mid-range idea? And I don't know. We had a good fight against them. It was a good time. I don't have anything negative to say at all. Our wasteland has been fun.
You're talking about JYX?
Yeah, probably. I'm dyslexic. Whatever.
Yeah, that guy that's got like the gold freaking whatever the hell. I can't tell what the hell.
Yeah, man. Those guys are strong. We've had back-to-back battles against them, and it's been a lot of fun in Wasteland.
So check out this guy's stats, and this was like 2 weeks ago. So obviously it's more than that. He's got some pretty damn good stats. He always fucking. I'm his farm. the black
That's
guy.
what I'm saying, man. Those
the black
guys are
guy
fun to fight.
Yeah. But did you see their freaking their void or their head of state? Oh my, they were dead last. Look at this, dude. This is fucking because they're in my bracket. It was insane. So right here at the very bottom, 747 scored 12.4 billion, and they got 7.1. So let me reiterate. 747, and if 747's in here watching, don't take offense to this. 2 years ago when it first opened, or 3 years ago when 747 first opened, me, Barry, and a whole bunch of people from the 300 nations went there, followed a certain player, and killed 747. Again, 747, I apologize. But we just like killed all of them. And Rusty Nails was there too. Rusty actually played quite a bit over there. He liked it. So to see 747 getting 12.4 against 726 with monsters that they will defend. They will fucking defend in Frenzy and Void. They will. They won't attack you, but they will defend. That's kind of pretty amazing to see that. And I know what they're taking that win, and I guarantee they're partying tonight with that.
Head of State is a boomer event. You heard it here.
It is. It is. It is. I don't like what they did. I think giving the nation of who you're gonna fight the next 4 weeks kills it.
So I don't want to save the event, and I'm sure as hell not interested in telling Camel how to save the event because I don't think they care. But it's not that hard. Kill all 4 phases that start before the kill event. Do 48 hours of kill event. In Void, it's just 48 hours of kill event. In Frenzy, refresh the towers at 24 hours. That's it. Then we would all have to fight again. The solution is not complicated. Camel doesn't care.
Well, I'm aware they don't care. I'm aware of that.
You're more aware than anyone they don't care. I'm trying to tell other people.
Yeah, I'm very aware. I'm very well aware that Camel don't care. Very well aware. But the community here is awesome. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that for sure. Damn awesome. I forgot what we were talking about. Sorry.
Big Bird, what's the next topic of discussion?
I just want to note that I converted Lead God to Polar. First I converted him to melee attack, and then I converted him to Polar. I just want to put that on the record.
So I'm not converted to melee attack because I wouldn't.
I'm just
lose
kidding,
more.
bro. I'm just kidding.
You know, and I think that the only reason that I thought it would work, and it definitely has worked, right? You never open my eyes. Let's put it that way. But I only think that way because it's a tad bit stronger than everybody else out there for the most part. And I really haven't tested it against some of the top guys out there that I would like to test against. Like give me Bo Jeezy's Old City or something like that. I'd really like to mess around with that a little bit, or something along those lines.
Here's my simple question, and I'm not trying to convert anyone anymore, man. I'm just joking around. But here's my simple question: since you added melee attack, can anyone beat you?
No, but I only dropped essentially one skill, and bumped my melee attack essentially about 100 in the positive direction, I guess you'd call it. So I didn't.
So you're saying
go melee attack. My melee attack is still less than my melee defense.
So you're
it's
saying
my third melee skill, if you would.
You're saying only 100 melee attack made you unbeatable, just so I understand.
That difference has put me in a place where it's been nobody's been ever beat me, Holbrook.
I'm just joking around, man. I'm just joking around for a good time.
If somebody gave me a run for my money, it was Steel City before he quit, but that was also prior to me having any mid-range reduction, anything in that regard. So that's the answer to that question.
I'm just joking around, man. Now that the warplane equipment came out, everything is rebalanced. I'm not even standing by my old thoughts.
There's not even a place where I would want to, make any changes right now. And, and I'm a man player, right? So I don't suggest anything that I do to others. But once I get the plane equipment maxed is when I'll start to think about moving anything else, and then I'll go from there. So I have quite some time to get there. for convo's sake. It's not happening anytime soon. But I won't make any further calls in that regard until it is matched up. But yeah, ever since I made those changes or tests, yeah, I've been whipping everybody's ass. It hasn't even been close. So take that for what it's worth.
But on a counter of that,
The polar. The only reason I'm excited is because I'm not playing fucking 255, man. That's literally the only reason I'm excited. So, shout out 255 because I do it every week. Love those guys. But that's literally probably the only reason I'm semi excited for this event. And I saw that we got 11-11, and I know that they'll come heavy and want to fight. So I'm excited for these things, because we just had a frenzy with 374, and the long and short of it is it wasn't all that exciting. My gold continues to compile, so I would use it, and I have no problem using it in polar if that's the case. But I'm not fighting 255 this week because I changed my time and I'm running and hiding from them because I'd like to, try and win a little bit,
yeah.
Call it what it is. Yeah.
It is what it
Camel
is.
won't fucking listen. Camel won't listen to me, and what it is at the end of the day, it's so repetitive. We're literally playing them week in and week out, and we lose to them week in and week out. Okay, Camel, we get it. They're better, they're stronger, they show up with more. Weekly, weekly. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, the only other option at this juncture was to change our timing. So I actually think some of the Alliance members are excited for the new time change because the majority of our events are between 12 and 1400 server time. So I think this will be a little bit of a switch up, and I think some newer players that don't necessarily join that a server time event because it's not mandatory. I think they'll be able to just kind of trickle in at their will. So I think it'll be fun overall.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the majority of the reason why I'm excited is because not fucking fighting 255. So I hope they get somebody that gives them a huge pain in their ass. But I don't think anybody gives them a pain in their ass these days.
So I guess now you know how freaking 693 feels like in the Elite War. I seen that video.
Shout out 406, man. 406 gun took them to towers today and gave them a little slap upside their head. I'm sure Ronaldo was running around splitting everybody up and spending tens of thousands of gold, and I'm sure he got his 500 merit, but he fucking lost. So shout out to Mo and those boys still doing their thing out there in 406, regardless of merge or not. Still out there beating up on the Chinese like a good old boy.
So are you still challenging them every Elite War, or at least whenever you possibly can?
Nah, it's not fun. It's not fun. Just like it's not fun going up against him every week. It's not fun fucking beating up Ronaldo every week.
Right.
It's not. So we kind of change it up. We played 269. To solidify our fourth place spot. Told you guys about that last week. So we kind of put that behind us. I respect 269 a lot. I got a lot of information over the years from Chicken and Polo and all those guys over the years. So I'm let them do their thing, and so we challenge Wog again. So back at the Chinese food, for breakfast type conversation.
Gotcha.
Just a different flavor.
Yeah, LG or Woody or Bird. Do you guys think there's a good number of rivals to have at all times? Because I think it's wise to pick your enemies. You don't want too many of them, but also having none is kind of boring, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's a war game, man. You got you know.
Well,
it's a war game. You got to have somebody you don't like, right? I feel like, and it's cool to change them. I know for me, it's happened kind of organically, kind of a few times over the years at this point, but I think it's like a must-have.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
we have a player that talked shit to me a couple of years ago, and I joke around and say that I farm him in the mines. And I don't need to call their nation out, but they challenged us in Elite Wars and we spanked them today. And that was just doubly sweet.
It's gratifying, dude. Yeah, fuck yeah. Like, that's the good stuff. I mean, for me, and, call me just a fucking an asshole or whatever. I'm American at the end of the day. So I felt like it was always easy to just have my rival be. And I say that with, I guess, respect to as many people as possible. But I've always just organically had that, whatever there. And and I'll take this for a little bit more context. 425 is right next to the first fucking Chinese nation. They started out, it was against us. So we were the guys who got fucking picked on. Well, not picked on. They tried to pick on us, throughout the process. They tried to beat us at every GC. They tried to they did all of it. And so we had to put up with them. So it was always easy for 425 as a whole to just keep our enemies in that Chinese version. And, and it seems to stay that way. I mean, look, Ronaldo popped out of nowhere. I never fucking tried this guy. I never talked shit about Ronaldo. All of a sudden, he's making videos of me. All right, bro, like, we got something for you, So it seems to just, like, organically happen. I don't know if it's me or my personality or what, but, it just seems to always point to the Chinese. But I like the Chinese. Like, my R4 Yao, she's awesome. She's amazing. I talk about women R4s all the time. She's a little Chinese lady. She's fucking great.
Yours she's pretty good too. Like, she's very nice. She's Chinese.
So I got and so I just at that, so it's got nothing to do with the race specifically, but for whatever reason, just kind of organically happens. It happened with 457, it happened with 442. We never really had a beef with 528 until just recent GC squabble thing. But again, it happened, and then it turned into the Ronaldo beef. So it's always been kind of Chinese. The Raz beef was short-lived, I feel like. But let's leave that for what it is too.
The Chinese thing is interesting up around where Woody and I play. I know the Chinese Lock Nations specifically. I don't know that we should even call them Chinese. We should just say Lock Nations, because they have the pack maybe advantage, but maybe not. But definitely like the language and the time zone advantage. I feel like they harass Woody, but all the way up by me, 785. Maybe someone can speak over me. It's up in the 800s, 900s. It's not even a thing. Like, there's just not the same animosity. 797's in my uranium mine right now. I don't really care. I attack them, but there's no struggle there. I don't feel like the lock thing matters.
Is there any true competitive ones up there?
Yeah.
Other than like
there are.
722, but I don't even think they're really competitive anymore.
I don't think there are. I think if three of them team up, they can definitely take Woody out and make him pay for his previous transgressions. But outside of that,
they did that to me. They did that to us last season.
That's what I'm saying. I think if you get set up, they can come at you. But be honest, outside of that, what? There's nothing going on.
Yeah. I've
never even heard of a. Sorry to interrupt, but I'll just say this real quick and shut up. I've never even heard of a nation in the thousands, 1100s, 1200s that's a lock nation where it's like, oh, look out, they're coming.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. Just to concur with you there.
There's 925. That's a lock nation that they did. We beat them in Wasteland. Don't get me wrong, but they came heavy and they got some big cities. For the 900s nation, they got some big cities in 925.
Well, I think another whatever tidbit just to throw on there. You also have to remember, Holbrook, that a lot of these nations that we speak of that people used to fear, like 555 or the other few that we've spoke of. This is all when we had those fucking secret mergers. These guys were getting merged every other month, on the whim, and that's just not happening anymore. So, the long and short of it is, I think that the good old days of making super hybrid fucking lock server nations, I think those days are gone. And, the whatever unfairness or extra, gifts they get, for
Well-
being wherever they come from is completely different. But the long and short of it is there's no 555 or 528 or 442 because there's no fucking secret mergers and there's
Here-
not 15 nations in one place.
Here's a price comparison between unlocked AUD. So I'm assuming that's Australian, or I don't know what that AUD means, and the locked nation's prices. So it's like what? It's $2 difference off of E29 pack.
I think that's
Yeah, I
great.
mean-
That's great to look at, but again, they're
Yeah.
they're limited to one country. So even if they got a 30% discount, but they can't play with anyone in America or in Europe or in the Middle East, there's a lot of money in all of those places, and there's a lot of money in other places, and they can't play with any of those people. 30% is not an advantage over playing with the whole world.
You're absolutely right, and like they're just like us. Like we can't look into their locked nations unless we put the whatever nation they merge with and go into there. It's the same thing with us, guys. So if we have 400 nations and they have, let's just say 30, they can only look in 30 nations. They can only make like new cities in 30 nations, kind of deal. Versus us, we have 400 that we can just go to. You know what I mean? And they can't. There's very few and far in between that they can trade nations out there because they.
Well, they also imagine
again,
you're trying to merge too.
Regardless of any of that, they're not getting their secret mergers.
They're
not getting mergers outside of the normal window that everybody else is getting a merger in. So I think that's the big reason why you're not seeing here comes this nation in GC. They're going to fuck everybody up and we need to gang up against them, blah, blah, blah. You're not getting that because of that. You have the nations like 555 because of the 17 nations that are there. You're dealing with 925 right now that might have 2 nations in it. I don't even know if they've had their first merger or not, but I'm assuming they have. So it might be 2 nations. That's it. That's it, not 14.
What do you guys think 722 have like 8 or 9 nations in it?
I think they got 3. Let's look it up so it can be clear.
And secondly, I know 30% sounds small, but 30% over $100,000 is $30,000. Over $1 million, which some of these accounts have it, that's $300,000.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But also imagine you're in a lock nation right now and you're trying to get a merge. It's not the same. You're Cowboy. You're in 7-Eleven. If Camel asks you for a merge, you can name 8 nations you want to merge with. If you're in a lock nation, there's like probably 2 or 1, and they may or may not be able to do it.
I don't remember what nation it is. But
720
nation that we brought up that has a ton, like 8 or 9 or 10 or something like that.
So 722 has 4 nations. They got 719, 722, 735, and 739 in it.
Look up another lock nation. There was one that you pulled up at one point that had like over 8.
I'm definitely not trying to make excuses and saying that they're at a disadvantage. I'm just saying I think it's way more fair than people think. They have some advantages,
I've
but they
never
definitely
cried
have
about
some
the price
disadvantages.
difference because of that. Again, I think I understand tech as a whole probably a little bit better than most. But again, the reason why is because of mergers. Like when 555, 442, and 528, that little band of misfits start coming out, and those guys are getting merged like every other day almost. Shit was crazy. And
look at this.
I don't know why it stopped, but it definitely stopped. Yeah, I'll just say, just pull up 555. They're the most merged nation out there.
17 nations in there. In 555, 17 nations, 3 mergers.
Yeah. So
is that why everything after 555 isn't strong enough? Oh my God.
It's exactly why,
17 nations.
You're looking at everyone talked about all these locked nations and everyone got fearful. It's because of these 3 or 4 nations that just got fucking hand-fed merger after merger after merger. Now, mind you, there's whales and spending players that come together and they have good teams. Don't get me wrong. 555's top 5 elite war, and they're one of the hardest teams to beat. And they've beat us numerous times. So long and short of it is you got to respect the power that comes along with it. But yeah, man, it's 17 fucking nations, brother. So the pickings are a lot more picking. They got a lot more strawberry fucking patches to look at where we don't. But also to give Camel credit, they stopped that shit. Whether it was the community or whatever fucking happened, they stopped that secret merger bullshit, specifically with the Lock Nations. And I'll say this now, but I personally sometimes pick on the Lock Nations to get them to talk to Camel about mergers, because if they get mergers now, we get mergers now. So it's like you know that those things start to happen. Like I told Woody, it's one of the reasons why I was kind of picking on Ronaldo. I'm telling you, I'm going to make this guy quit, or he's going to get a merger for himself, and that means everybody else is going to get a merger too, because they can't just do it for him. So like these are some of the things that I tend to think outside the box of, and whatever. But the long and short of it is yeah, man, like fucking 17 nations is a fuck ton different than whatever 925 is right now, which is probably 2.
Let's look at it real quick. 6.
Yo, imagine how mad you would be if you're 726 right now. Like you can't get down to 555, but you're never gonna get that love.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, correct. I mean, you'd be as pissed as me, or you or anybody else. Like you'd be just as pissed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just don't think. Overall, I hear you on 555 for sure, but overall I don't have the same disdain for the Lock Nations, because up where I am, it's just not the same story. It's funny how we all play the same game, but we have such a different experience.
It's I don't know why. See, 726 got quite a bit of big cities in there, and they're strong, but they always bend their knee to 722, and I've never understood why they bend their knee to 722. Like, I think 726 could take 722 easily. In like GC we're talking about. But like,
I mean, why would you bother if you're either one? You're not going to win.
Well, I mean, per se, let's just be realistic. Not realistic. Let's fantasize. What if all four Lock Nations, like, I don't know, 722, 726, 771, whatever one else there is out there, they make finals for some freaking god-saken reason, and all the other unlocked nations didn't team up against them, and they made it. Like, everyone's gonna bend their knee to 722. They even say it in GC chat. Like, I don't understand that. Especially as a lock nation, I don't understand why they bend their knee.
I just don't think it's even possible for them to even get close. It's just never.
I mean, they can't get close to even like a 528. I don't think. Unless the whales stay and they get a halfway decent merger. Moving on. I mean, I think that the growth of any nation is, I don't want to say around the whales, but specifically in the Lock Nation, it tends to be like this anyway. But if those guys tend to stay, like Steel stayed forever, and I know that 555's got some new managers in some of those big cities now that seem to be doing fairly well for themselves. But, I think a lot of those guys rose to the occasion because of Steel and him being around for so long and, being a presence or, whatever the case is. I know a lot of the guys, even for 722, are the same as well, right? They got a couple of whales in there that do their thing, and, the group tends to stick around them. I think a lot of it's got to do with, whatever type of camaraderie or, loyalty is able to be brought in there. But new mergers even, and I think it's a lot different for the Lock Nations because the pool is so thin, like Holbrook mentioned, we're in a much, I think a better position so long as it's a fair playing field. Now there's an argument that the pool is a lot thinner and that's why they get more mergers, and that's what Camel tried to shove down our asses, years ago. But the long and short of it is we're able to make sure that shit stops. you know, and it is a level playing field now. So they're never going to be able to catch up to a 5-5-5. I don't think any Chinese nation can catch up to a 5-5-5. Even if you were to merge Ronaldo and Shrimp with 5-2-8 and 6-9-3, get 4 mega whales in the same place, they're still not taking out 5-5-5. That nation's got so many C-41s, and they have a good team.
Guess who else? Guess who else they're not going to take out? 6-2-1.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, definitely not. You know, definitely not. You know, that would almost be, you know, I think that would create a lot of quitting on both of those teams, and not meaning 6-2-1, meaning 5-2-8 and 6-9-3. If they were to merge and then have to be in that GC bracket and get donkey punched essentially by 6-2-1, because that's what would happen. Those guys are a team, you know, and then that merger wouldn't be a team. It would be 4 whales flying around, and that'd be it.
Yeah,
you know. So, anywho, you know, it just wouldn't be it wouldn't be a match, and they could donkey punch. But what would happen is I think those guys would quit. You know, just like whatever Steele quit after getting his ass beat by 6-2-1 in that last GC that didn't go his way.
Yeah.
You know, after that he was like, "Fuck this, I'm done." You know.
Yeah, I heard about that. A lot of those people did.
I mean, listen, you know, like at the end of the day, these are, you know, these are men with egos, and a guy like Steele obviously has got a fuck ton of cash, you know. So guys like that, you have a certain mentality, I believe, or at least have similar traits. So you don't play to fucking lose, you know. You just don't. And if you tend to be coming up on the losing end of the stick over and over and over again, you know, you're probably going to walk away, you know, eventually. And that's just the easiest way to say it. And I think that goes, you know, take that for what it's worth.
Look, have you heard about the talk about the way that possible mergers might happen soon? I'm sure you've heard about it.
I've gotten, you know, I think I shared the screenshots with my VIP recently about the, you know, whatever merger talk. I mean, again, I don't think 425 needs a merger right now. You know, we're healthy, you know, in the grand scheme of things. So, you know, but yeah, if you want to give me a merger, sure, like I'll take one. But, you know, if they're going to start reaching out to people and asking questions, I think that's a stall tactic. It's my opinion. You know, if you want to ask what I think about that.
Hey, Woody.
Yeah.
You got Sean with his hand up wanting to speak.
Yeah, I just gave him the invite.
Oh, I got you. Also, check out 1018 in that screen with all the merges. That's had a lot of merges.
You said 1018?
Yep.
Real quick while you're looking that up, talking about merges could be a stall tactic, but whether it's serious or a stall tactic, you're not going to see anything until the end of the next head of state. So people shouldn't get their panties twisted.
No, yeah, so I mean, what I was talking about
looking
is
outward and countdowning is just crazy to me.
What I was talking about is the chat between some people about the way they're going to start merging again. Not when or how or which nation, but the new tactic of how they're going to do it. And it's going to, from what I hear, and I'm not 100% sure this is true because none of the VIPs or none of the Camel, they haven't said shit to me. Oh, real, they haven't said shit to me in a while. Like, they don't talk to me anymore. They know Woody. We tell you something, you give hints to people to freaking buy this and buy that. You know, so they don't talk to me anymore. But the thing that we're talking about is Globe One might be shut down, guys. The thing. And definitely we'll talk about it some other time, but it might get shut down if what the information that I heard by a certain player is true. It might get shut down. But the players will still be in the game. I'll say that. The players will still be in the game, but Globe One might get shut down. from what I heard.
I'll bet 1,000 gold coin or blue coins on it that there's no non-traditional merge by the end of the year. I don't believe this hype.
I don't believe. Well, I don't believe the. Yeah,
Can we
I know.
put 255 in Globe 1? Is that a thing? Is that
So
a thing? We put 255 in Globe 1 and we just whisk those motherfuckers away?
no, it's more like there's gonna be a big balance. From what I understand, again, guys, I don't know if this is true or not. Okay, so this is just it could be just rumor. But from what I heard, that there's gonna be a better balance throughout the game through whatever nation Globe 2 all the way up to Globe 13. There's going to be a better balance for the players that are in the Globe 1 that they might be seeing throughout any of those nations. And you're not going to see a whole alliance go there either.
I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I've heard these rumors too.
Did you? Yeah, you heard it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm only entertaining it because it. I mean, it is a problem. Camel does understand it. Mergers is an issue. They understand it. Do they know what to do? No, they have no fucking clue what they're doing. They really don't. I have also seen a screenshot about three nation void. I've seen screenshots of them testing it out on not this game, but not something that we can play.
What about the private global conquest that's going on right now?
Yeah, it's a private thing. None of us.
There's always stuff going on, but yeah. You know, when you're building your nation, you have to play the probabilities, man. Like all this stuff is experimental stuff.
All experimental. I still think that.
Sorry, don't get me wrong, man. Tell these guys all the crazy shit, man. I think it's all super fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to kill your pod on the speculation. I'm just saying, like, don't plan your nation on some crazy shit that's happening on a private server. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Don't hold your breath for the pick a nation for 10,000 gold once every 3 months. Right? Just don't hold your breath for that, guys.
So it's not going to be. Well, it's going to be pick a nation, but it's not going to be every 3 months. It's from what I heard. It's going to be all right. Here you got 4 nations to choose from. You choose, and only 5 of you go into this nation, and 5 of you go into that nation.
For the fun of it.
That's what I heard.
How do you get to decide who gets to go where?
The same way the developers freaking decide anything in this game. They pick you out of a hat. I don't know. I'm just. But I mean,
so there's 500 active players in a nation, and they're gonna merge each of them 4 at a time. You know, so at one point there's going to be a nation with 6 active members in it still doing events. I don't find that hard to. I find it hard to believe. I don't like it. I don't trust it.
I don't know if this is true or not, but from what a reliable source, and actually you know him, Lee God, he said that that's what's going on. Like it's being tested. Like I don't know. I guess we have to wait and see if it happens, and if it does happen. It will be a balance to the game. It will be a better balance because everyone wants. I want my whole nation to merge up with another nation. I get that because that's how it's been. But there's just too many huge freaking nations to do that. Like, you can't put freaking 219 and freaking 425 together. You can't do that, bro. Like, you can't. You just killed the game like that. No one's going to compete. No one can barely compete against you right now.
I mean, people think the game's already broken, man. I mean, you talk about. I shared that report from the Elite War with UBN.
Yeah.
That crazy report. I shared that in Enoch's server or somebody's server. And Mo, you know, I believe it was from 406, essentially responded to it like, you know, the game's broke. And if you don't have whales, like, you're just fucked. Troops melt away, you know, And that's, you know, he's really not wrong in some degrees. So, I don't know. I feel like it's something that needs to be, you know, handled in some regard because there are, you know, I don't know, 7 or 8 teams out there that are so much better than the next 7 or 8 teams.
I agree with that.
The gap is very big in, you know, that realm of things. So moving around, getting back to that merger talk or pick a nation talk or whatever bullshit, it just doesn't make sense for sustainability, and it doesn't make sense, to have all of these extra servers with few players, especially few of the spending players, because the first ones that are going to want to be pick a nation merger, they're going to be the guys spending money. So they're going to be the fucking first ones out of there. So there's going to be so many random dead nations with few players, and then what? You're going to get a full nation merger with the leftover dead nation. Is that what Camel's going to do? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
So from what I understood and how I how I understand it, so that is, we'll just say like nation one, we'll just use nation one. The whole nation of one is going to disappear. So everyone in that nation is going to be sprinkled. We'll just use the word sprinkled throughout the entire game. So you might be playing with your whole alliance, but you might not be in the same nation after it gets sprinkled in. You might get some players like four players from nation one that goes into, we'll just use the number 1111. Four other players goes into 732. Something like that is how I took it when they were explaining it to me. Which technically it would kind of bring activity back into the game, because the ancient nations right now, you're just looking at bubbles and there is no excitement anymore. Imagine you get like Liga. Imagine 425 gets, we'll say, 3 more freaking people from 219 into your nation now. Not saying this is happening. Like I'm saying, I was entertaining because I heard it and it was new, and I was like, wow, I really thought about it. I think that wouldn't be too bad.
That's exactly what League God needs is more players.
I'm just saying in general. So how do you get a dead nation in the 400 nations? How do you put a spark in that nation?
You're already watching it. They've already done balance by releasing so many ridiculous things, and now you've already seen. In case people haven't seen it, they need to look it up. There's new rewards for Doom's Iron Grip, or whatever it is in your language. There's new rewards for Mother of Doom. Like, they are actually balancing things, and that is how you balance out the old nations with the new nations.
Well, I'm talking about like activity-wise. I mean, balance with strength is different than balance with more people. Like activity.
I mean, it is very probable, to merge whatever nation 2 with nation 1300. It's very possible to do.
Well, they'd be sprinkling a whole nation throughout the entire game.
They would have to do everybody. So I do it by GCs, right? So we're globe 2 for GC. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like globe 1, which is everybody below us, right? Which is like 330 or something like that, 320, I believe, and below is the other 50 nations. So there's 50 nations essentially, and 0 to like 320, right? That's the current numbers right now. So you could take those 50 nations and merge them into the 11 and 1200s. You could do that with the 50 nations in that globe. So it's just a birth of players, and then it's the luck of the draw on who goes to Civil War and who builds an alliance, type deal. That's what it's going to be.
Right.
If it were to happen like that, but I don't think merging nation 269 with 320. I don't think that balances the playing field. I still think 255 wipes the floor with that.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying
I understand
is
exactly what you're saying. I'm answering Holbrook's, how do you balance that, whatever, but like I just don't see the sprinkling throughout the game. You know,
Bro,
I just don't. I don't.
giving you
It's
more
like so much
players,
more work. So much more work.
giving you more players can't possibly be balanced.
Well,
Right?
I mean,
That's crazy.
Agreed.
I'm not saying 425 would be getting the 41s. You might be getting a whole bunch of 38s or 36s because they got to go somewhere too.
Woody, this is a social game, man. You can't just be like, "Hey, buddy, I like your city. Why don't we just drop you here and fuck all your friends?"
I
That's
mean,
crazy.
that's
Yeah,
kind
dude.
of
It doesn't make sense. They have to nation merge, but again, I don't. I think that even VIP said it to you when you guys were bantering in Messenger. Um, I think overall in the game, there's 500 nations or something along those lines.
yeah,
So
499.
if there's 500 nations, if you were to theoretically merge them all, which probably right now on today's date, every single nation minus the 20 newest nations essentially wants or needs a merger. So,
Yo, shout out fucking Gambit 767. He's fucking ruined my life previously by beating me down in this game. Respect to him. But data wise, he said 500 is like the max that the game has been in a minute. So this idea that 500 is like some crazy low number that we should be afraid of doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, someone can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
no, yeah. So I think it's just this goes back to sales and tech businesses, but I think what they're looking for is more volume on the ticker tape. So with the more nations that are created, is another pitch point slash KPI or another column on the spreadsheet, if you would. So these are all different things that I think pumping the final numbers at the end of the year comes into play. And I tend to agree with the 1,000 blue coins, no merger prior to the new year, simply because of what I'm saying right now. I think they're going to do everything possible to pump the final quarter and go from there. And merging, I don't think is in the release motive just yet.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's coming anytime soon. I don't think it's coming anytime soon because we're still in
I think
GC.
you're going to see C44 before you see that. We're still in GC, like you just said. So you got at least another month before GC's over. I think that's like the middle of November or something along those lines. So there's about a month left of that, or 3 weeks, or something along those. So,
Well,
and
it's
then
funny. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because if you remember when I talked about merger with I'm not going to put their name out there, but Camel, they said at the end of November that would be if everything went well. They said if everything went well at the end of November would be the next merge.
I mean, that would
So
be in line, which would be after GC.
yeah,
After GC, GCNs. I think GC finals is like November 14th or 12th or some shit like that. So it definitely falls in line. If they give mergers, great. I think it'll at least bounce the game for a little while, but I don't necessarily think it'll change a lot in a lot of nations.
yeah. I don't think any of us will see it. I honestly think it'll be more like the 1100s and up. Maybe one nation down, yeah, in the 500s and up we'll see something, but I don't think it's going to be any of us that's in here.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep it status quo, like I've been saying for since before the last merger. They're going to keep it status quo. Maybe 431 and 429 will merge together and knock out Globe 5 and finish us up. And then essentially, I believe the rest of the mergers will, happen from the 900s and above. The guys who are straggling in the 900s that didn't get their merger last time. And then I think they left off in like the 1100s or some shit like that.
Well,
So,
Seven
that's
seven
likely
nine.
where they're going to go.
779 still hasn't even got one yet. Not even the first one.
Yeah, but they're farmers, so that doesn't matter. I think the one merged nations are going to get a merge.
I hope so, just to generate, some action in the community, because a lot of the one merged nations like yourself even, are competitive and I think it'd be really cool to see, like the 700 to 1,000 bracket, like a 950 bracket, like what you guys would do with another merger. Similar to like what 425 did with their second merger, right? It's like who's going to come out on top after the next, status quo, if you would. I think that'll be cool to watch, talk about all the above, because there's some really good teams up there. I know Woody's been saying it for years, but probably over the last year or so, I've taken the time and scattered a bunch of you guys and even some of the newer nations and whatever. And, there's some good teams out there, man. So got to respect it. And it'd be cool to see you guys get another merger and, how that, is either good, bad, or different, and how that plays out,
Yeah.
The only reason I think that sorry, Woody, I'll shut up quick.
No,
The
go
only
ahead.
reason I think you and I are both going to get a merge is because compare us to 61. You're not that far off from 61. You're 50 nations roughly off of 61, and you have one merge, and 61 is as strong as we all know. So they have really no choice other than to merge you next. That's the only reason I think a lot of one merge nations are going to get some love soon.
But
I don't
that
think
makes
Camel
sense.
gives a fuck as much as it makes sense. I don't think they give a fuck because look at like 255 again. They've been dominating GC for 2+ years, man, essentially, and and nothing's changed. There's been mergers, there's been whatever, but
yeah, but
255
GC's dead. GC's dead. Hollow State is dead. But Woody still needs to try to make his nation work for the events that are popular right now.
So, and not only that, I think that
but you also would if you get the right merge, you're going after a GC, Holbrook. You can't tell me you're not.
So that's the funny thing, right? People keep saying this, and I agree that absolutely. Give me a good merge. I'm going to try to win GC. But it's not like the old days, man. I've won GC twice. Back when everyone thought they were going to win, and we used to fight, and people were getting merges. And like pre my first merge, it was fucking amazing. But now, imagine right now I get a merge. Let's pretend I get a merge with 799, amazing nation. So we come through and we just murder everyone and win GC. No one cares. It's not like anyone's gonna be like all of a sudden, oh my God, this merge is such a great nation. There's not gonna be 15 other nations that also get a merge and they're all gonna fight to try to win.
Wait a second. What if I don't know? I don't give the next two great nations merge together and give you a run for your money. Holbrook, wouldn't that be cool?
I do think that it's possible that they could merge a bunch of these great nations. I think I can name 7 nations I want to merge with, and if they merged all of them, then that will equal maybe 3 more nations that can fight for GC. But you're asking me statistically, how exciting will that be? That's 3 more competitors. That means that semifinals get good and finals are good, but it's still a 3-month event where only 2 days matter. That's not super exciting, man.
No, I get it. I get it. Because that's the place that 425 is currently in. All the preliminary matches is literally...
You free roll them all, right? You free roll... Sorry to interrupt you. You free roll them all.
I mean, I don't free roll them because I don't know how to not press speed. But yes, we hold the towers without any resistance. We get 45,000 points and we burn everything that we see for fun.
Absolutely.
And try to get merit, right? Because nobody's fighting us in the towers, so can't get merit. So we have to... People think we're assholes. It's like, oh, GFK is just bullying everybody. No, bro, we're getting into the event to get merit, you fucking pricks, and you're hiding from us and you don't want to fight. Like, what the hell?
Well, I think
everybody still wants the event to be good. That's what's so sad. Like we free played the last round of GC, and in the first of the 3 phases, the other nation that was going to eventually win didn't show up, probably just because of time zones. And so, of course, we played and we had a good time and we spent some speeds and, because it's GC, because we want to. But then when they did show up in round 2, nobody was there trying to fight them. We're not going to throw our money away. And then I looked at the score in round 3 and I was like, there's no chance. Why would I waste a 25% speed on this?
Yeah, I agree, man. That's what I do in 357. We join round 3 when everybody's sleeping and nobody cares because they've already got all their points, and we join round 3 and we PAs the fucking whatever the capital or the attack tower or whatever, and go in there and we get our merit for free, and that's it. So I agree with you, but I also would counter and just say, if you got the right merge, if the setting was right and the battle was there, it'd be great. It'd be a lot more fun than it currently is now.
Hell yeah.
It would probably be a little bit more of a priority than it currently is now. I know
bring the
for my
merges
own
back.
nation.
So
Yeah,
bring the merges back.
I got
my own nation.
I got a million dollar.
People...
I got $1 million question. I got to ask you, God. I have to. If 736, my nation, went GC against you guys, am I getting burned? Because I'm gonna be I'm gonna be recorded. Am I getting burned? Let me rephrase that. Am I gonna be the first one burned?
Yes. I'm not in that nation. Obviously, the answer is yes.
I mean, probably not, honestly. And it's really situational dependence. In that question. What's your BP is my first topic, and the second would be is are you competing to beat me? And if you were just there to have a good time or whatever the case is, probably not. But if you were there competing to beat us, and all those things, also probably not. I would burn the rest of your people because I know you can heal. So like burning whales is the smart thing to do because we have gold and we have heals. So if anything, you're wasting your non-spending players, heals and speeds and gold, trying to attack that bigger player for a cool report. I've learned my lesson doing that in other events. So, but if we're just there having fun and there's nothing going on and we all need merit, you can bet your ass Woody we're coming.
Yeah, it would remind me of the older days. It would remind me of the older days where as soon as my bubble came down, I have a whole alliance coming after me.
Well, and if I remember correctly, that was Raz who did that.
No, that was when I was playing with Ram. That was when I was playing with Ram. I never got to.
But Raz Raz joined that GC and was in the nation and wanted you to knew you were making a video or something. So let's attack Woody. Blah blah blah. It's kind of how that went down, if I remember correctly.
Well, dude, it was every single GC I went to. Like Marcus did it. Freaking everyone did it to me.
Well, you're the YouTube guy, so they all know that you're gonna post a battle. So it's like, hey, let's kill this guy.
Look at this guy. What he got burned,
seen, bro. It's a normal trait of a human is they want to be seen. So let them be seen, man. That is what it is. But I think GC is situational. I think there's some really good teams in the 700s and 900s that I think if you made some good teams, it'd be fun to watch. I think it would be really shitty for the shitty teams in those nations if the good teams were to merge together. But I feel like it's always going to end up in a similar situation to where we are in, say, these first, call it 3 globes. These first 150 nations, I feel like are kind of set. And if I'm shooting everybody straight, I don't think a merge in these first 150 nations would really change much. Maybe it'll change if the merge comes through because we would have to consider what comes down into the first 150 nations. So we would get 5, 6, 7. We would get 5, 5, 5. We would get a good, depending on how many merges come through, 6, 2, 1 would come down, right? So it would really change the game, if they were to, do a bunch, because then you would get 6, 2, 1, 4, 2, 5, 255, 555, all in the GC together, right? If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
So it'll take a while to get there, but I think that's ultimately where it's trying to get to. But it'll take mergers to get there, and we're still a little bit away. But the long and short of it is these style of moves or mergers or over time are gonna eventually get there. So I think that those would all be things that would make it fun for our globe, at least. If you brought in a 567 555 down into our globe, that's a whole different conversation. So mergers, in the first 50 nations, I don't think anybody's beating 255, man. If you give 219 nation 2, then maybe nation 2 with 219 and their leadership potential and their cities, and the fatness of nation 2, maybe they could give 255 runner for the money, but I still don't think they'll be able to beat them, brother.
Reed,
I
I think
really
that'd be
don't.
tough. I think that'd be tough. Like 255 is just scary.
And it's not just him. If you've ever seen 255 in a GC, it's not just the 100 from him. I mean, they have a whole nation of players. I'll just leave it at that.
We don't play the same game. We don't play the same game. Like, we're not getting the same merges. We can't treat our players the same. We don't play the same game. Everybody just has to optimize for what their nation gives them.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, man. I don't. It's what I had to do in 425. In the 3 or so GCs that we couldn't do anything in the finals. We would make the finals, but we were going up against nations with 250 people, and we could bring 80.
Yeah, that's true.
So we just had to stand by and watch. I made it a thing that 425 would stay in the finals, and I'm fairly certain every time we made it to the finals, or maybe once we didn't, but that was by choice. Excuse me. But we were there every time, just couldn't win it. Because we needed a little push, a couple more people to help us out. And when that merger came, then it was time. It's kind of, we're still in that era right now, currently. But if 567, 555, 621, if they came down to us, it's a horse of a different color. Completely different color.
I think what needs to happen, and then we'll move into the next topic. If there is there another next topic after this, or is this pretty much it? But I think that if they mixed up the GC instead of doing it like each nation, 32 nations, and the next is in the next 32 nations. If they mixed up those winners of this GC and move them all into a bracket to where you're fighting other winners.
We do GC. I said this to VIP 6 months or a year ago. We do GC now 3 times a year, every 4 months, I think it is, right? Something along those lines. So we do it 3 times a year now. Used to be twice, I think, but now it's 3 times a year we do GC. It should be a yearly tournament,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And at the end, it should be fucking 425, 621, fucking 255, and some other asshat, and we should all go at it. And that should be like the end of the year type shit, like that's my opinion, and I think that'd be cool.
I think people will strive. I think people will strive to win that. We'll strive to win GC at that point, because you're going to be going against other nations you've never seen before, and it's like a championship. Like look at like football. they strive all
same as
year.
that concept, just a bracket. Obviously there's age difference. It's like the NCAA going against the NFL, right? So there's that argument, But again, I think it's eventually gets to the top nations, and you can compartmentalize it. I think you could probably cut it in half and be fair. If there's 1,300 nations, do the first 750 and the next 750, something along those lines, or whatever that number is, 650. You know what I'm saying? So you just cut it in half, and I think you could probably do two pretty good year-long brackets between those two, and keep it fair, And it would be kind of like the NCAA and the NFL, just because of age. But I think it would be pretty cool, But it would be year long, and yeah, I think that from nation 0 to say 750 again for convo's sake, or 650, I think that would be a great, year end, battle. Because I know that there's 3 or 4 teams in there that are gonna be there, and I know those 3 or 4 teams are gonna fight their asses off at the end. And it'll be, like I know that, and I'm sure if same conversation for 750 or 650 up through 1350 or whatever it is now. There's some good teams in there that we would love to see fight at the end of the year.
Oh yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
You guys can hate me for it, but I think it's already there for Polar. I just don't think people care about GC anymore. I don't think nations work anymore. I think for old nations that got so many merges, they can have multiple alliances, then they can talk about nation events. But for anyone Woody's nation or older, you just don't get enough merges to talk about nations. It just doesn't work. You have to focus on alliance events. And everyone can hate me for it. It's fine. But I just think the truth is, if you're in Woody's nation or younger, then focusing on a nation event without getting those 17 merges, okay, I'm being hyperbolic, but 5 merges, 5 nations, like Woody has 1 nation with him. A nation event doesn't make sense. He can only focus on alliance events.
That's why we sat out GC. So we went in GC with 732, 767, and 711, and we went in there. And we're like, okay, let's just give it a swing and see where we stand. We stood nowhere. Like, we were stopped. And it was a big eye opener for our nation that we all showed up and tried to do something, and nope. Nope, there was nothing. So
I mean, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it also, there's a food chain, guys. There's an order, and a pecking order and all those things. So it kind of just puts you in your place a little bit on where you stand in things.
Yeah.
Not to say that you haven't gotten, similar things that other nations have gotten when you talk about merges or whatever we want to argue about. For the most part, I'd like to think, especially for the newer nations, Woody's nation and up, Camel's been a lot more fair with you guys than they have with, the older hats out there. We've had to just fucking deal with it over the time, that we've had, throughout the game. So Camel's definitely a little bit more on the, fair side these days than they were a while ago. But I would also have the argument, Holbrook, that the nation event is so similar to the alliance event when you have, rules and order and, things like that. But you're also fighting people for the most part with the same, cards, being dealt to them. But they just had a better group of people. More people stayed. More people didn't quit. More people spent money. Whatever the case, or however the cards stacked up for them, they stacked up. But like for you, Vegas is sitting over there in La La Land. If those 3 cities were active and doing their thing, maybe you guys could fucking whip up on whoever the GC winner is. I don't fucking know, but I'm sure that might be a difference maker just with your specific situation, but I think everybody out there, regardless, it's pretty fair, and if you're getting your ass whooped, it's probably because you deserve to get your ass whooped, it's because you aren't as good as the other team, and I say that out of respect, but, and it's got a lot to do with money. Like, don't get me wrong here, but, people are out there building teams. They're taking advice, and they're putting in a lot of work. Like these 858s, these guys are taking literally verbatim from people, that have been doing it a long time in the 200s, 400s, whatever, and implementing it into these theoretical newer nations up there. And they're thriving, and they're recruiting these crazy bastards, doing it way earlier than anybody else is, in my opinion, from being a single merge nation and blah, 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 blah. So like these guys are doing, they're putting together some real teams. But the 700s, man, I always get the 700 numbers confused. But it seems like the same people keep winning kind of over and over and over. I don't know the reason for that, and I don't think it's because they're extra merged or anything. Maybe I'm wrong when I say that. If that's the case, then hopefully they don't get merged in this coming, whatever comes down the pike, and maybe a couple of others do get merged, and then there's a new king in town, and that's kind of how it's the flow of things has always been, leading into today's date anyway. It's like, okay, there's a king, there's a king, there's a king, there's a merger. Now there's maybe a new king. No one's been able to dismount 255 other than, I forget which nation did it. I think it was 290 maybe. I don't know. I forget. But somebody beat 255 in a GC sometime,
a while
in
ago.
the last couple of years.
I could tell.
LG, you're one of my favorites, man. And you actually speaking about the days when you guys used to lose makes me still try to make my nation work. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of nations that are already good, and you talking about the days when it wasn't good and you made it work makes me think, there's a future with or without a merge. To be honest, my only point is like. These younger nations, they're not going to get the same merges that other people do. People are moving around now. It's just a different game, and so everybody should.
It really is.
People should not necessarily care what's going on in Nation 1 if they're in Nation 1000, and if you're in 255, like you're already in arguably the best nation. But if you're in Nation 904, comparing yourself to 255 is crazy. You know what I mean? So
I personally think, pound for pound, the strongest, most dedicated nation right now is 621. I think 255 is the most dedicated nation, the best led, all of these things. I'm such a 255 fan. But I do think that put those two teams in a ring together and let them go at it for like an elite war and everybody's prepared for it. I do think 621 comes out on the other side of that as the just a little bit of a stronger edge, a little bit more motivated, that's just my whatever opinion. Not trying to throw like wood on fires or anything, because I know there's like elite war ranks and shit like that, but my opinion is 621's spending the most money, all of those things, and they continue to recruit, bring in players, and and they're doing really well. So yeah, I think they're, them and 255 are just the teams to beat right now. We got a great team in 425. Don't get me wrong, but put us in a ring with those two, I think we lose. Both times.
There's a lot for everyone, man. Like if right now, so I'm full. I would give away a terrible city for someone to come join 785, but we got nothing. So if someone asked me right now, let me go somewhere, I wouldn't say just go to this nation or whatever. I would say, do you want to be with Lead God fighting for Void, or do you want to be with 621 fighting for another GC? Or do you want to be with 567 with whatever their record is for head of state? Like, there's a lot of nations for everyone. It's not. There's no nation.
Bro.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I was just having this conversation earlier, and they, when Tip and the Rob were going at it from 439.
I seen that.
It's like, listen, guys. It's just like, listen. If you don't know that 567 fights for a win rate, you're a fucking idiot. And I say that with respect as usual, but that's what they fight for. They fight for the win rate, and they've lost less than a handful of times since they've been alive. So they're going to win any way fucking possible with T4, with recruiting, with farming, with fucking attacks, with fighting with the bigs, with not fighting with the bigs, with however the fuck they can get that W, they're going to get it. If you don't like it, just unshield and fucking let them get their points and shut the fuck up. Because I'm so tired of hearing about it over every week in, week out. 5, 6, 7. Listen, this is what they do. Do what fucking 255 did and beat them at their own game, or shut the fuck up. That's it. It's really all you got. That's all we can do now. That's what they fight for. They fight for a win rate. and they have a very good win rate, and they don't like to lose, and that's it. That's it. So hopefully everybody hears that, passes it along, and we let 5, 6, 7 continue to do their thing. And if you want to shut them up, get them in a matchup, you got to beat them. They love to recruit in the final minutes, and they love to use T4, and they love to fight with just the bigs, and they love to do those things. But at the end, they also love to win. So take it for what it's worth, and just please stop fucking crying about it. But yeah, there's some great fucking nations out there, and I would also suggest for those guys still hanging around, not getting mergers, blah blah blah, since mantra episode number 1, stop fucking wasting your money in these shitbag nations and go buy a decent city in a well populated, active, participating nation in whatever it is that you like, because there is a fucking plethora of Baskin Robbins flavors out there for you, and you can find your flavor, whether it's 255 all the way to whatever 904, 858, fucking 785. There's so many, So choose your flavor, choose it wisely, and go have fun. Or stick around and wait for Camel to do Camel things, and you can get merged with the shittiest farmer nation that you've been talking shit about for the last 3 years, and then you get merged with them. Like it's literally
it happens.
It's literally what happened. Dude, that happened to me in fucking 357, man. We got merged with 363, and whatever. We killed the Civil War, blah blah blah. But when we first took them on, bro, they were just so full of farmers, man. Trash ass fucking farmers, and and whatever. I'll say it, man. It fucking ruined the nation. Fucking ruined the nation. We were a 2-time GC winner, blah, 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 doing our thing. Void win rate was in the fucking high 80s, da, 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 and then these fucking trash bags came along and ruined all that shit, So,
I think we're at the point. I think we're at the point right now with. I know we always say it's the farmers, you want to kind of get them out of your nation and stuff, but being that there hasn't been murders, like. I think we're at the point in the game where we're like, okay, so now I think we need to really rethink about who we burn out of our nation. Like if they're a 28 and the average is a 34, you might want to rethink about if you really want to reburn out of your nation. Yeah, before when mergers would happen, yeah, that's fine.
Settle down.
You know what I'm saying? Because who's to say 6 months from now, they're going to be at 36, and then he's right back where he should be, or he'll add something. He'll add something to your nation as an attack. But if you burn them,
I'm willing to listen to your argument, but make your argument.
So
this person is a C32 right now, and you're saying just because Camel's not merging anyone, a C32 is going to give you value later.
Oh, I am not talking about a C32. I'm talking about a 34. 34s right now, because they are 34 in our nation area time. They might not be spending a lot of money, but they're spending something in it, so 32 in our nations and 785, they're I don't know, I don't think they're going to go any further than that. They might get to 34 5 years from now.
Not, man. They're not.
And
Just call it what it is.
Those are the players.
Here's
those
the
are
first suggestion.
Those are the players
I'm waiting on your next merges, right? So when you get your next merger, take my suggestion in 425. When we got our second merger, we made the cutoff right then and there.
Well, yeah, when you got your second merger, I remember that live. I remember that live. You said, if you're a 34, you're a food. I remember that live.
Well, it was 33. 33.
Yeah, 33.
33 and below. 33 and below is food, man. That's it. Your food, And a couple people got some passes, but they had to wear a shield,
Yeah.
And if that shield fell, man, a couple of them died through the process. It's like, all right, you got 30 days to become a 34, but you have to wear a shield and you have to stay in this alliance until you're at 34. Like, we're going to watch you, and that was it. And a couple of them turned, and it's cool, and they're still around for convo's sake. And shout out to those people, whoever they are. But a majority of those people were just that. They're just food because they're not active players and they have T10 sitting in their cities and they're eventually just going to leak. So it's your job to keep the hospital full of their troops at all times until they no longer log into the game.
Like
So however you got to do that, you do that. But I
like the
wouldn't
30.
suggest killing people with real troops though in your city, in nation for making mistakes and stuff like that. I wouldn't suggest that. I think a lot of people have done that throughout the years, have probably regretted that, and it's probably one of the first things that baby told me to not do when I was asking nation building questions early on. um, and I was super cool with Bodizi at the time, and he was doing the direct opposite. So I chose the 255 route for whatever reason, and it's worked out well for us. And I think that Bodizi would even tell you now that he regrets those months that he was being a little bit of a whatever prick in the nation by burning some people and things like that. Well deserved, I'm sure, but long and short of it is, I don't think killing active players that have decent cities or at least, at par cities, I don't think killing those people are, advantageous to the overall health and growth, especially when you speed it up a couple of years, when you're, I don't know, how old is your nation now, Woody? 3 years old?
Yeah, about 3 years old, and that's what I'm talking about. Like the 32s are not going to grow. I didn't get that. They make a mistake, get rid of them. But like the 34s and above in the general time area in mind, 2 years from now they might be a 37. You know what I mean?
Woody, I want you to be true.
Wait,
I want you to
Holbrook.
be correct, but stop it. You know better.
But Holbrook,
I know.
If state doesn't matter anymore, then what does it matter?
Say it again, Big Bird. Sorry.
Sorry. If head of state is dead, then what does it matter if you've got a bunch of 31s, 32s running around? Did that come through? Can you guys hear me?
No, I'm thinking about it. It's a good question.
That was like a whoa.
No, I mean, it's a question that as I'm listening to you guys talk, it came to my head. I'm like, well, the reason we've always had kind of like a rising level that was the minimum level to stay out of quote unquote farm rules and stay in the like active player rules, it's always because we're trying to limit the number of points we leak. And
what about
I don't know,
nation? So for 61, forget about it. But for Woody, nation battle power does matter. So in my opinion, and I don't even know if I want to say this because the nation's going to hate me, but in my opinion, he should burn everyone, probably not in the top 2, because he's trying to get a good merge, and he has an inflated nation because the top 3, whatever. And as Relly told me, even T4 has an inflated power. So do you want to merge with a good nation, or do you want to merge with a fat nation? So I don't know. It's complicated, and we're all guessing, of course, but anyone who's not in the top 2 nations in the top 2 alliances, in a 700 nation, what are they even doing, honestly? Ever. What are they doing ever?
I mean, I still have that same problem in 425. So it's like, I mean, we just had Frenzy, and I know it was Frenzy, but we just had Frenzy with 374, and I think we only won by like 200 million points. And it's, what do those people do in the 3rd and 4th alliances? Holbrook, they leak points. That's what they do. They lower the shield.
It's also a weird thing. Like, if the game continues to move towards alliance-based events, all of our opinions change. Like, if there's no head of state, who gives a shit? If there's no global conquest, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, if it all goes to alliance events, everything changes. I have my opinions right now on what people do, but if my nation no longer matters and we're just like neighbors,
number though, so it's always going to be a thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if right now it matters to me because people still pretend that head of state matters. But if my entire alliance stops caring about head of state and global conquest goes away, then I don't actually care what my second alliance does, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what Big Bird was just alluding to, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, what if you don't care about head of state, you could have a bunch of C-32, C-30, whatever running around, like nobody would care.
Bro, it's not that I don't want to care about head of state, but Camel has ruined the event. So what am I supposed to do? I can't fight the tide.
I mean, do you really think how is Cam? I don't think Camel's ruined the event. I think it's been ruined by the bunch of fucking pussies that were playing.
There we go.
You want people to play with fucking honor, and I would love that. I would fight you straight up, but we know that's not what's really going on, man. It's straight trolling. And if someone can beat us just with recruit and trap, they're gonna fucking do it for sure.
That's so gay.
You know it's even gayer.
It's not like there's rankings.
So
it's not like there's the not
there's
gay
levels to it,
rankings.
right? Like I can't say it's gay because I just gave like 567 does that, right? People talk shit about. I'll just talk about them for a second, right? But again, they do this for a specific thing that their nation has been focused on since essentially their birth or creation. So when these guys are whatever going balls out and going to win like that, they have a strategic focus. When everyone else is going at it and there's not a way to win, or you're going up against the guys who can't beat you or whatever the case is, like I get that, but I understand Void because there's troop loss. I get that, and I think that's what Campbell should do is give proper matchmaking, so people will be more inclined to fight. Like maybe the teams that I always talk about, maybe we wouldn't want to fight voids and stuff like that against each other all the time, but that would probably be the most fair. Is those top nations for the most part fought each other and like voids and stuff like that, right? That would probably be the most fair. But the normal head of state matchups, there's like Camel's not doing anything. They're putting fish in a bucket and you guys have the action to set it up and whatever, make it great, make it a good time. And for whatever reason, it's not happening up there, and people think it's a thing to whatever, recruit and take the 5-6-7 way, but they have a win rate of nothing. I don't fucking know what what it is and why people are doing it, because it's not trolling. I don't think it's more like stupidity, Holbrook. I mean, who is going to talk about how they won, but there's not a single battle report that's decent? There's not a 20 versus 20. There's not a fucking dead, whale or anything. Like nothing cool happened. I just don't get it. I don't.
LG, we're just playing a different game, man. Like
we're not though. We play the same fucking game, bro. What the fuck?
Okay, so you tell 799 because they recruited another 800,000 or 800 million BP before everything started. Like we couldn't even fight the event. Like we're playing the same game, but we're not playing the same game. People want to recruit and win. There was no chance that my nation was ever going to fight 799 today. And I have no hate against them. They used exactly the same strategy that 567 uses. So how can I say on one hand 567 is brilliant, which I believe?
I mean, my first question is what's the win rate of 799? Are they trying to mask what 567 has done, or are they a 78% win rate and they're just whale spending? If they're whale spending, I told you this in group chat, bro, talk so much shit from the top of the hills. Sure, you create a little rivalry or whatever the case is, and hopefully you can put it to the side if you're merged. But I'd be talking so much shit. Duck Beast, bro, you're pussies. You suck at the game. Cool, your stats are awesome, blah, blah, blah. But fuck you, fight me. Like that's what you say as much as possible until the ego of a man comes up and then they fight. You know, it's typically what
Yeah, I mean,
happens.
so we took a loss in this head of state, right? So for them to face us means they must have taken a loss, right? Like, I'm not talking shit. I'm just giving facts because I don't want to talk shit because I don't really fucking care. I think the event is broken, but you're
Yeah,
not wrong.
I hear you.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I could definitely, if I wanted to get involved in caring about this event that I think is broken, then I could say, like, yeah, why did you guys bother to recruit all these troops? But they are max cities, and I guess they wanted to recruit and win, and so whatever. I don't care.
And it's so crazy to me. Like, why are you recruiting right before a potential release
Bro, it
of
makes
a new
no
city?
sense. It makes
Like
no sense.
everything about. Well, no, it does because they wanted to win. Maybe they just wanted to beat the famous Holbrook, brother. You know,
Dude,
and if
they could have beaten us heads up.
You know,
They could have beaten us heads up. We would have fucking fought them gladly. They just recruited and won.
yeah, and it makes that part makes it not fun. So I get that, but hey, Holbrook, that is not Camel's fucking. You know, I'm not trying to take Camel's side here, but that ain't Camel breaking the shit, bro. That is the players breaking the shit.
It's
you know?
It's also what
Bro,
like
I had a great frenzy 357 versus 3-4. We had a blast. We had a good time. It was back and forth. It was they win. It was us win. It was boom, boom, boom. It was back and forth.
I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy to pretend like I want to fix an event. I'm just not that fucking guy. I'm sorry, people. I'm good with just let's play with what the conditions are on the field. But be honest, like if they would have just opened up a fight for the kills and then forget all the other bullshit, no recruiting, no fucking gathering, of course we would have fucking fought them. But when we go in and they've just recruited, we're down $1 billion. Obviously, why wouldn't we care at all?
What? It's probably because they lost, you know, and they didn't want to lose again. And I can appreciate that as a man, you know.
Yeah, man. No, I'm good with that. Also, I'm totally fine with people buying a win. Like you know who else bought a win this week? Fucking 796 bought a win against me in DOD, and I forget who else. Because more than them bought a win in DOD also. Like that's part of the game. That's why
you gotta buy a win in DOD. That's what the game is.
Right. No, but that's what I'm trying to tell you is head of state is now a buy a win event. That's what I'm trying to tell the community.
I mean, it's always been a buy a win event if you wanted it to be that way. Now, I will say in my time, and I know I'm half, you know, whatever, as old as you, they're twice as old as you. For the most part, it's always been like an honor system, and like you would only pull out the recruit button like against like the rivalry, you know, or
that
some
shit
other
is gone, bro. That shit is
situation.
gone. That shit is
it's
gone.
for you fuckers up there because you guys got a lot of crazy whales up there, man. You know, and the whales down here never really did that. I feel like the first time I ever really saw a crazy recruiter was like when 269 or somebody tried to beat 52 in Void War, and Sayaz dropped like 3 billion to catch back up. And that was like the first person I'd ever seen recruit to make it even. He didn't even recruit to win. He just recruited to make it even because he was fighting a merge nation who just got merged and they were super healthy.
I remember that exact because I was actually playing in 52 at that time. So 285 Lumbers Nation just got merged, and they had Void against 52 ED1, and Sayaz told 385 or 285, if you guys recruit, I will recruit and match it, and they recruited, and Sayaz went like 3.5 billion. recruiting.
Yeah, he matched them. Let's just leave it at that. He matched them.
Yeah, he matched them.
And it was almost like an honor system, you know. And like, sure, there was, and I remember for me personally, I never
losing
500 million until 429 recruited against us, and the Mecha G. That's the dude. The whale over there. You know, he just went recruited 700 million or something like that because they wanted to win. We had a little rivalry with them from like a GC thing, and they wanted to win. And long story short, or does he recruit? Man, I'll tell you, as a whale spender, I started hitting the recruit button and then spending gold because I ran out of speed ups. And man, my fucking gold went quick, and the recruit wasn't adding up all that fast, if you know what I'm saying. So I got to like 450 million, and I was like, "Fuck that," Like I just stopped. And we ended up winning that void war. But what the nature of the conversation is man, it's more like an honest. There's no real reason to do that, or maybe it's a whale for whale match, and like I get those type of ego decisions, and I think being on this whole podcast, Holbrook, doesn't help you. I think it brings attention, to your nation in many good ways, but also in some potential bad ways. Right? They know you're a healthy nation. You talk about it often. You obviously show up and things like Polar 90 plus, right? So they know that you guys are a decent nation. So they just had to buy a win, brother.
LG. So obviously, everybody's seen that we bring 90 plus to Polar. Obviously, everyone's seen that we do participation. So the last round, Void, we had 796. They recruited, they bubble trapped. Now we had 799 for Frenzy. They recruited, they bubble trapped. It's not even about the nation. It's not even about participation. Everyone knows that we're going to bring it, but also everyone knows we don't even play this fucking trash event.
Do they not attack at all?
Hey, guys, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. Go ahead, keep talking.
Do they not attack at all? Or is that just like an overall consensus of what's going on up there in the 800 plusers?
Let me first say, just out of respect to both nations, 796 and 799, they're both stronger than us. They both won. I'm not going to talk any shit like in a negative way, like in any negative way. They won. They used what needed to do to win. But they both just fucking recruited and then set up traps where we can't win. So what the fuck are we supposed to do? It's not a game anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's boring as fuck. We can go sacrifice our troops, but it's a fucking trash event, man. I don't know what else to say. It's back to back. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking 796 Void. Awesome. These guys are stronger. All that's available, all that's on tap is fucking bubble cities and trap cities. Okay, no problem. Congratulations on your win. Then next week,
and they don't
what's
hit
on
your
tap?
traps?
No, they don't hit our traps.
Or are you not offering them?
No, absolutely fucking we offer them. So against 796, we offered them, they were not interested. And against 799, they already had so many points it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah. I don't know. Those are tough situations, man. I would just be talking so much shit. Like if I'm
You
losing,
have to understand,
I'm different though. Like I like those events, and we prioritize them in our particular nation, and I just wonder why anybody is, if you're not like again like using 5, 6, 7 as an example, and I think there's a couple of really high win rate nations. Up in the call it 800s and plus, right? There's some guys that haven't even lost yet, type deal, and are still holding on to some records or whatever. So I get some of these things, and they want to hold on to it as long as possible. And
yeah, but if you're in 799, like I'll take the other side. I'll take my opponent's side today. If you're in 799, like you want the win. You know what I mean? You want people to be excited.
Why do they want
about
the win? They shouldn't want the win if they're not fighting. Like to spend an entire 24 hours on Sunday, which is the fun part, in my opinion, the kill event part. When you can attack the enemy and the invading nation, whatever kind of thing you want to wrap around that scenario there. Like that's the fun part. So. When you can go an entire 24 hours and there's no fucking action, man, it's just stupid.
Really quick, we have Sir Zion in here. I'm not sure if Sir Zion has a question he wants to ask real quick. Maybe.
I think the problem.
Nope, never mind.
I think the problem is that people have become too focused on win rate, and there are a plethora of tricks that you can use to promote that win rate. And so more and more people are doing them. And so what I've found is you can still have a good void, you could still have a good frenzy, but they're becoming the exception rather than the rule. And at least in my like limited anecdotal experience, the more you're having a conversation with the other nation, the more you can promote having a fun, kill event. I mean, to me, I think like I care individually as a player, I care less about winning or losing. The way I'm defining success for a kill event is, did we get action? Were we able to get some big battles? Were, players doing the right things in terms of the things that we teach? Like, I just think my framework for evaluating the event has changed. We've had 2 good events in a row. We had 5-6-4 and 5-9-4, and like this past frenzy, we got some really nice big battles in on both sides. But I think it's becoming the exception rather than the rule because people are too focused on win rate, and so there's things like.
But there's only so many people that are focused on win rate, Big Bird. I mean, come on, how many people have a 95 or better win rate? Like no.
So guys, I actually have a suggestion for this.
Let me
respond real quick to LG's point. I think what you're saying, LG, is who cares about the win rate if they don't have a 95+% win rate? I think the answer is there are a lot of nations that care. Whether or not you think they should care, they do care. Do you know what I'm saying? And so they're like
they need a fucking reality
propagating.
I don't think they do care. I don't think they do care.
How
many nations have a win rate?
Guys,
hold on. About the individual win is what I'm saying. And so there's a lot of nations that are pulling the same sorts of things, the same sorts of techniques to promote a win.
Let's let Sir Zion real quick chime in here.
We can come back.
So guys, I actually have an idea. We fought 406, and it was kind of like the exact things you were guys saying. It was kind of, they recruited a lot and they wouldn't play unless there was like a group battle where they actually knew they had way more people than we did. So an idea is for Frenzy that we kind of came up with, and we can always go towards any other nation. So we'll be the ones doing it. So maybe we can influence other nations to do it. But it would be something like this. So, and nobody can bubble, and just in Frenzy, of course. So nobody bubbles, not even the whales, and that's kind of a little bit of chaos. But also it would be immense fun, unless you're really trying to win as a nation. Which if this is broken, then that kind of is the point. So what do you guys think?
That'd be awesome. That'd be like Chaos Land all over again. I'd love Chaos Land.
We said this in somebody's chat earlier today. Pretty sure it was Enoch's or somebody's channel. If you're going into, let's say Holbrook and 799, he sees this recruiting fiasco that they did. If I'm Holbrook's nation, and I know that I'm not fighting for a win, and we just watch these 2 whales drop a billy in recruiting, I tell the whole nation to unshield and have a good friends.
Yeah, but the point is, I think what I'm trying to say is we can actually create exactly like you guys merge, right? You create your own mergers. Let's create our own like super fun event where it's Frenzy, and the point is, let's not look over the wins or who loses. But we're actually having fun as a nation, right? Nobody bubbles, not even the big players, nobody. And that's kind of getting inviting and getting all this crazy stuff that was before with people that don't spend, and you get like crazy amounts of people, like just complete chaos, right? 50 people attacking a whale. Whales trying to attack.
Big Bird, didn't we do something like this with 459 and 357? How'd that work out for you?
Listen, what I recall is that I held to the terms, and then I saw a bunch of shields after I got smoked.
So check this.
Dirty on that one.
So check
but-
this. Check this out, guys. Check this out. So I'm actually gonna personally talk to Camo about the whole bubble thing. So obviously in other games they have a thing to where if you unbubble to attack, you can't bubble for a half hour. So if they counter you, they can't bubble for a half hour. And you know what happens? They go square to square with each other and they just go at it. People pouring here, people speeding there, people attacking that city, reinforcing that city, countering that one. It's badass, and that's something I'm going to bring to Camel. Will it cause?
Ultimately, you can't put the ball in Camel's court. It would be great for them to give us something to push these people in proper directions. But at the end of the day, it's about the players and the quality and the type of personalities per se in each nation. Like I know that if 425 and 621 were in a frenzy together, which we just were not too long ago, like the end points were like 25 billion. And we kind of agreed to not recruit and all of those things. So it was like 3 or 4 billion going into it. And like the end result was like 20 plus billion points. I think everybody had a halfway decent time. There were some big battles, there's some small battles, some people got burned, there's people, whatever. And everybody had a good time. And there's no reason why fucking whatever random nation can't do that. And now I get the power and difference or whatever, but Holbrook, if you would be on a potential merging basis with Duck and Beast and those dudes over there.
Woody.
Are you guys on communicate basis? Why wouldn't you reach out and be like, yo, like, let's have a good friendly, like, let's keep it, somewhat close, through the first 4 and everybody save their consumables for next void, and
why would they want to do that with me?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like they are happy to spend the money. No, they're happy to spend the money. They don't care. They got the win. I don't think they're sitting at home tonight upset that they got the win without fighting.
I mean, they should be, right? At least.
My point is,
to spend all that money and not fight Holbrook. Come on, bro. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. You don't want to do that. You're a whale player. Those are whale players.
No,
I don't. The same mentality
want to
do
that. I don't want to do that, but this is what I have to do. This is the game that we're given. If they didn't want to do that, then they wouldn't have recruited. I didn't recruit. And it's the same thing with 796. Polar Bear recruited first. I recruited and I met him equally. I didn't go over. I didn't try to out-recruit them. So then he recruited again. So obviously I see what these players want to do. They want to recruit. And I don't think any one of them are sitting home tonight upset about it.
I doubt they're upset either. I don't disagree.
Bro, this is the game that I want to play, but I'm not gonna fucking fight them in their wallets. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not gonna give money to Camel.
No, so you fight their minds. These are the things that I do, brother. So I'm just trying to offer some suggestions. Let's all say that I could have not, said anything to Big Bird and the leadership team over there. It would have cost both sides so many recruit points and fucking dumb shit when it's a phone call away and nothing for nothing. People like to save items sometimes, and also people like to fight, or I'd like to think people like to fight. And if you provide a level playing field, even if it's in their favor, it's like, all right, like, let's not recruit, but you can go into the phase 5 with the lead. Like, I don't even care. You can have like 200 million lead or 500 million lead,
You guys are a little different than we are up around the 700s. So around the 700s, I don't message anyone and say, hey, I'm going to hit you in the uranium mine. I hope it's okay with you. I just hit them.
I don't do that shit either, bro. I just hit them. I don't do that either. No, I agree.
So I think
you shouldn't have to do that, but you should be on speaking terms enough to attempt to not get out recruited, right? Not because
I don't If you and I were fighting, let's pretend we had even nations, which is already crazy, but let's pretend. If we don't go buck wild in the recruit phase, do you go buck wild anyways? Do you tell your nation to go buck wild anyways? Or do we just go to fight? Right, we just go to fight. So I'm not gonna go talk to these boys, man. If they want to fucking fight, we'll fight. If they want to recruit, they can recruit.
If you know what you're up against, right? Like I've been open about me reaching out to Big Bird and the leadership team over there when I went up against them, right? You know how many times I've done that in my career? Never.
No, but that was
the first time.
Why would I bother to talk to these people who obviously have made their choices? No one on my team is recruiting to win. They're making their choices.
Talk them out of it is what I'm saying. Oh, you can talk about
guys,
it.
what I'm trying to say is that basically it's leading by example, right? So if the greater nations like 255, 425, and so on, right? And you guys can actually, you start doing this, other nations will follow, right? They'll try to copy you guys, and it's like, well, this is actually fun. Even if we're losing, we still had like an enormous amount of fun. So I think that's kind of the idea and the key to this. So
I think these guys are smart enough. They know what they want to do. I'm not fighting them. I've not recruited. No one is recruiting. They are making their choices, and these are not stupid people. I'm not going to reach out to them and be like, "Hey, man, if you could do me a favor and let's not recruit so we can play a broken event, that would be fun." Like they gotta be big boys, and Camel has to figure it out. None of this has shit to do with me.
Yeah, I hear I hear the argument, man, and I agree with most of it. I'm just saying that you play the game, and I think that.
Bro, I play the game. That's why we're fucking. That's why we're fucking top 25 in. That's why we're top 25 in Polar League. God, this is why we don't play this bullshit event anymore, man. Just real talk.
So there's other things that's going on, and Liga, I kind of want your actually all you guys' thoughts about this. So I'm not gonna say what nation, but the people know exactly what nation they are. Someone goes into the enemy nation or their nation. They're in the 5th rank alliance because the towers you can only attack if you're in the top 5, right? So he goes into the city and he puts one zombie in the enemy nation's tower and sits in there all day, just so his own nation can't score points out of the towers. Can't attack?
Let me answer this one first. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Were you done?
Yeah, go ahead. I want you guys' thoughts about that, because when I heard about that, it really pissed me off, because Void's already broken with the whole fucking recruiting fucking bubble, and now the only frenzy we have is the opportunity of fighting back in the towers, and people are trying to break that too. So you're gonna just have your whole nation fucking die. The whole game's gonna die if you want to continue to do that shit. It's a loophole of cheating in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean that. So we've talked about a lot of different things that people do to earn the win without fighting. That particular move to me seems like past that even. I think the advice that we should be giving on this podcast is, what do you do, or how do you prevent that? And the way to prevent that is to keep a close eye on your top 5 alliances by battle power. What do you do if that happens to you? You reach out to the other side and you say, "Hey, this is what's going on. Like, we want to have some fights. Can you take care of it?"
But what if the other side says, "No, fuck that. We're not gonna. This is."
Yeah, agreed. So what if the other side says, "No, we're not going to fix it"? Then you make it public, and this kind of is the final point. It's like, nations get reputations, and how you get your wins. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, or if you pull some really shady shit, you're gonna get a reputation, and that reputation is gonna follow you much longer than a single void or frenzy is going to last, or even then the tower that you get from winning the head of state is going to last. Your reputation is going to matter. So for nation leaders, that's kind of the lens that I would be looking at it through. What is this going to what do we want our reputation as a nation to be? And what actions should we be taking that are in line with the reputation we want? Because, if I were the nation who's a troll from the other nation is making it so they can't fight in frenzy, you have a choice, right? Assuming that you can get in touch with leadership and leadership has the availability to get online quickly and deal with it, that leadership has a choice. Are we going to kick that player? Are we going to let it go? And there's context to the specific situation you're referencing that I don't know, but I'm just taking it as a general matter.
We have a
choice about how you want to react to that, and your reaction is going to become part of your reputation. You have a choice in how you win these head of state matchups. If you do the same things against multiple opponents, you're going to get a reputation, and that reputation is going to follow you. If you have I'm going to rattle off a couple of examples. If you have a reputation for recruiting big, then a team that wants to beat you or a nation that wants to beat you is going to recruit big against you, unless there's some sort of communication beforehand. If you have a reputation of using a lot of non-point giving troops, then people are going to react to that. People are going to, at its worst, people are going to clamp down on certain alliances in their own nation and not let them play. They're going to make changes in who they're having in their attack roster. They're going to, make changes on what traps they're willing to go for and what they're not. It's going to hurt you long term. If you care about this event, think about what your reputation is going to be in this event. And your reputation is going to dictate how future opponents play against you and how future opponents regard you, both in this event and outside the event. So my
I also think it's got a lot to do with
your reputation's going to extend.
Don't you think it's got a lot to do with recruiting too? If
Well,
you don't have a great reputation out there, good reputation, at least holding your word, being loyal, and a couple of the bases, but this is something that if you got one of those shit, what I've used it before. 439 has got a reputation for doing dumb shit, like recruiting and bubbling, right? Stupid stuff like that. And I don't think anybody would want to go to that nation. I just don't. I don't think they've got a good win rate. I don't think they went out, blah blah blah. And the thing that I've always heard was this, right? But taking that particular nation out of it, man, if you got a bad reputation in general, you don't keep your word, right? I think that's a big one. I had some beef with 524 because a great one, not keeping his words in some shit, a while back, because I don't like that type of stuff. So, it was, it was stupid beef, but it was there because of it, and I feel like that followed, him for a while, at least with my alliance, it did anyway. So stupid stuff like that, man, really just follows you for a long time. And I think, if you're one of those nations that are wanting to recruit, bringing in new players, stuff like that, I think it's a lot more difficult if you're getting these particular labels, recruiting and bubbling, you don't fight. Why would I, as a spending player that doesn't like my nation because of participation and whatever, all these bot farms, there's a million different reasons, but I'm going to leave there and I'm going to go where? Just to this place where I'm not allowed to do anything on Sunday and you two guys just recruit everything. Man, that's no fun. Like I felt bad when we took on Mental, right? When Mental was recruited into 425 and he got his city, I told everybody when we were fighting them in Void or Frenzy, hey guys, sorry, but like Mental's building his city. It's nothing against you guys. We're not trying to like recruit and be assholes, but like Mental's building his city. So the guy's gonna drop a billion and a half. Like, I'm sorry in advance, And and that was just the nature of the game, and it wasn't against anybody, and hopefully we didn't get a bad rep for that. But I did my best to nullify what I knew what was going to happen. But these other guys, whatever. I respect the Ducks and the Beast as like a 1v1 whaley stuff, but man, if you guys are fucking leading that nation, man, stop that shit and go fight. Because nobody's gonna come to that 799 nation just because you got two whales, People are gonna come 799 because you're showing battle reports with 60 plus people in it, and you're rising the elite war ranks, and you're fucking top 50 in polar, and you're all these things. They're not coming to your nation if fucking you're just recruiting on Sunday and no one's fighting on Sunday. That shit just doesn't make sense.
No,
It doesn't. I'm sorry.
The reason I brought this up, and I specifically did not say the nations for a reason, because I have respect for the nations. But the reason I brought this up is, if this happens to you before Frenzy, you guys have to really, really clean and look what's in your fifth alliance and fourth and third and so on and so forth. So if you're going up against a nation in Frenzy, make sure you're not bringing in new people or someone that wants to trade a city and you don't know who it is, especially Frenzy week or even Void week. I specifically didn't say a nation because I have respect for the game itself. So if someone's saying it's them, that's out of my hands.
I mean, I don't know who's doing that tower holding weirdo stuff. It's got to be a troll, and
it is a troll.
Unfortunately,
it is a troll.
There's trolls scattered throughout the game, and there's really nothing you can do about trolls other than tolerate them until they disappear eventually. Typically, they leave after a period of time, but sometimes there's forever trolls out there, man. So, the long and short of it is. I would like to think that the enemy would kick out the one zombie. I would like to think that. But if that doesn't happen, then, again, man, the towers weren't always there. It's not the only way you can win.
And you got a point there.
Stop using that as an excuse.
You do got a point there.
Go fucking create a fucking battle and make it happen. And if anything, like, fuck it, man. If nobody cares, man, just drop the shields and at least make it fun for the people who are recruiting and spending to win. So like Holbrook, man, like next time they would do that shit, bro, just give the nation a free boxes for everybody and just say lower the shields, man. Go have fun, everybody. Yourself included. Get zeroed, bro. Who gives a fuck? Like I think that would be more fun than just sitting there in bubbles, logging in, looking around.
I don't want those nations that think that I'm actually talking about them. Well, I might be, whatever. I don't care. I don't want them to be all pissed off.
I mean, I don't even know what nation it is that you're talking about.
And there's a reason why I didn't say it, because I do respect people, but guys,
I'd be calling
play the game right way. Don't ruin the towers. Don't ruin the towers.
That's something you're gonna want to take note of next time.
I think the towers should come into Void.
I do
I
too.
want the towers in Void. I think that'd be cool.
I do too.
Give us less losses or something, but give us some Void battles and with a tower. I think that'd be cool.
Oh yeah,
something to spice it up a little bit. Maybe create some more battles. But I mean, ultimately, I think that I have two very different nations in 425 and 357. I think that we get matched up with two very different styles of nations. So I think I have two very good perspectives on this game and the matching system and who we play, how we play.
Everything's offline. You can delete the site.
So it's one of those things where I've
Move on to the
never
next one. Told you it's real simple.
I've never come across not being able to create, a battle. I've never come across not being able to go find points and get points or whatever the case might be. Sure, they've been difficult and, whatever, troublesome sometimes, but we've always been able to create battles in both nations. Sure, there's been some crappy ones in 4.2.5 recently, but like specifically in 3.5.7, and everybody knows I'm in that nation. So like when I fight them, they know to
Shouldn't
be
be what?
careful. But it's always been able to be created,
Shouldn't
whether it
be.
be via traps
Probably,
or whatever.
probably mute your mic. Take bro.
So,
Go ahead.
I think everybody can go out there and create the battles if they want them. If you have the right mindsets of the people in your alliance, you can create. If you lower the shields, man, somebody should come. And that's just all there is to it. And if they're not, man, that's just crazy.
Yeah, that like
It's just
today.
crazy.
Today
How do you
we
look at a fucking shield on Sunday that's down and not go? How is that possible? I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't. If the shield's down, man, people gotta attack, dude. So
look at the kitten attack. The kitten
That's
has the
crazy.
best
It
attack.
happened.
Dude.
He did that to us. So I get it. It was so fun to see him doing that and nobody touching him. So that was cool.
Yeah, kitten is out of his fucking bird. That one. I think you got to admire the guy's dedication.
Yeah, oh,
You
absolutely.
just have to. You can cry about his T4 all you want, mother truckers, but he's getting them points. And when you're not looking, that fleet of T12 is coming at that ass,
So did you guys all see the new teaser from Steven Newsman?
I haven't.
All right, so let's watch this real quick. It's not long, but let's watch it. Hold on, let me blow it up.
After the last movie was released,
and I'll
two of the portrayed characters.
All right, starting over right now.
After the last movie was released, two of the portrayed characters went mad. The first, in a storm of fury, unleashed chaos upon the innocent cities of CCA, all to bring down Steve Newsman. The second one used her connections to silence him. Every message, every post about the movie vanished under the weight of censorship. But for the love of free speech and satire, Steve will not stop. He will rise again and avenge the fallen by directing another movie. Because freedom isn't given, it's spoken, no matter who tries to silence it. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. The next movie will be legendary.
Oh, shit. I cannot wait to see that. I cannot wait to see what he drops at.
So the Asian girl who was throwing her hands up, fucking going crazy in that's Pettit.
Yeah.
She's like a whatever member of 564 or whatever that nation number is. And man, she is she's aggressive, to say the least. So she's 100% the one that censored everything. Let's say that.
Either way, I can't wait till he drops that movie. He's saying it's going to be the best yet. Oh my god, I cannot wait. And of course, I'll post it on my channel. Of course.
Yeah, too funny, man. He's great.
I'm shocked that Camel hasn't tried to reach out to him because he does better than what Camel can do. I'm gonna be real with you. I think we're pretty much out of
I'm gonna tell
topics now. Go ahead.
We're gonna make Camel fucking make a couple of avatars from Newsman's movies as officers.
That would be a good
I'm gonna
idea.
tell Camel if they want me to stick around, the next officer needs to look like my avatar.
That would be pretty badass. Imagine a Woody avatar. Not joking.
Let's go.
That'd be cool though. But
yeah, I was gonna suggest the same thing. I'm gonna head out of here, guys. It's been a good podcast. I appreciate you guys joining and jumping through the hoops of downloading the new softwares and all that fun jazz for Woody and the team here. But thanks for everyone showing up. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for the evening.
Yeah, we're gonna
talk soon.
I'm gonna end the stream, guys. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for watching.